Grease 2 is the worst movie ever made that got mainstream recognition.
Does Grease 2 have mainstream recognition? Because I didn't even know it existed until this week.
I mean, yeah, because of Grease 1. I mean, people have seen it.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't even know there is a part 2. Which is
Grease 2 is a
understandable.
movie that exists, and I've seen it yesterday for the first time in my life in almost August of 2024, and let me tell you, I regret every single second of that. It was offensively bad, and I don't throw that around lightly. But happy Sunday, everybody. How are you all doing? Dark Lord, welcome in. Congrats on being second. How are you? Hello, Psycho. Thank you very much, Tifa, for taking out a spam bot trash already while I was getting a drink.
That was very effective.
It seems like a very weak handshake, but I'll take it.
Everything he said, basically. But yeah, Grease 2 was a ride. And I do recommend watching it.
Trash.
I do recommend watching it, just to, like, shit talk it. Gotta
Shit talk it?
Shit talk it.
Isn't that a mushroom?
Gotta have seen it at least once.
Is it too early in the day to offend people, Tifa, or can I let loose?
Go ahead, I guess.
I want to argue that the vast majority of the characters in Grease 2, by today's standards, are near on irredeemable trash humans. And I don't see how anybody can actually enjoy the movie. I need to get this out of my system right quick. So, I'll give you a recap without the spoiler tag because fuck Grease 2. So, Grease 2 is a movie in which the plot is about, like, all the story relevant scenes are like 10 minutes. Maybe 11. Fuck it, spoilers please. No spoilers overlay for that. No, hell no. Everybody needs to walk straight in, learn that Grease 2 exists, and then never watch it.
Also, gotta be fair, it's really hard to give spoilers because there wasn't that much of a story besides trying to get the girl.
So, Grease 2, I'll give you a quick recap and then you know everything about the movie. This group of people from, I believe, the first movie, the T-Birds, are still around and they still have their girl clique that they hang out with, the Pink Ladies, and for some reason all the T-Birds are hanging out with the Pink Ladies and like grope them and shit.
They're like a thing, but the T-Birds
bad.
are basically just your average shithead bullies who aren't really good for anything else in the movie.
The T-Birds have no redeeming qualities. There's the main character, or the leader archetype character of theirs, who is a little bit shorter than the others, and he is scum. Like cheating on his girlfriend, treating her like trash, but somehow he is the leader of a group. Then we have the other guy. Also, they all look like the Grease people, with the hair and stuff. Then there's the lanky tall guy who looks up to everything that the leader guy does for, it's not established why, a goose, yes.
Our 40-year-old high schooler.
That will come into my quick recap review of Grease 2 in a moment. And then the other two, they just tag along and do whatever the other two do because the group needs to be 4 people for some reason. Because there's also 4 girls. Their counterpart, the Pink Ladies, have no character whatsoever except, what's her name? Penelope? Penelot? Something with P. Paulette. It's not a name I regularly hear, so please bear with me.
Also only there for the boys' entertainment.
Of course, as are all women, because it's the 1960s? I think 50s, 60s, 70s? I don't know. The Stone Age, by my recount. So, Paulette, that's her name?
Paulette, yeah.
Paulette's one character trait that I remember is that she likes sex.
So do all of them. There's even songs about that, but...
Which, spoilers, all of them do because they're supposed to be like 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Height of puberty and hormones. Now you might think these characters play a major role. No, the movie isn't about them. The entire movie meanders about between the transfer kid from Britain coming to school, falling in love with the pretty girl played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who is kind of not happy with being objectified, but then starts objectifying herself, which then is okay because she's doing it to herself. You know, whatever. You do you.
Guess seen as the leader of the Pink Ladies?
But also not, because by the hierarchy that's Paulette, because she's dating the main guy of the T-Birds.
Yeah, but the main guy of the T-Birds, while dating Paulette, is obviously out to date...
He wants to get with a girl that the British guy falls in love with because they had been dating, but she broke up with him. If this is confusing to you, it's really just a small triangle. I'm just bad at explaining. Not the point. The entire movie's actual plot is objectively hot British guy comes to this American school, falls in love with the blonde girl. That's all her character.
She doesn't want him because he's boring.
Because he's not cool, and he doesn't... She wants a guy that is a cool writer. There's a whole song about it.
She wants a cool bad boy who will tear her to shreds, basically.
Yes.
But and obviously he is the straight A student who is boring and a good student, so she's quite mean to him and doesn't want him.
Yes, she doesn't even give him the time of day. So hot British guy then makes some money by doing the homework of everybody else. Effectively the entire school at the end. Buys a motorbike, starts learning how to ride and do cool tricks.
Becomes a pro bicyclist? Pro
motorcyclist.
He becomes a pro rider.
The cool rider.
He's better than cool.
And now, when all the cool kids hang out at the bowling alley, for no apparent reason, the bad guys from the first movie show up. There's no reason for them to be there. None. There's no explanation why any of this is happening. It's just
it's the rival gang.
They show up. There is no motivation, nothing. They just show up. Then, again, for no motivation whatsoever, no explanation, nothing. Now, cool hot guy on a bike shows up and like drives around and through the group. He doesn't hit anybody really, but they fall over because it's the 50s.
Also, you said no spoilers, but up until this point, that was the first hour of the movie. So yes, obviously there are spoilers.
I said that, but I also said no. Anyway, now it's on there. Sorry. If you want to get deeper, let's just take it. So, from seeing hot guy on bike doing a short wheelie, the Michelle Pfeiffer character immediately falls in love with him.
She's like, I don't even need to see his face. I want to fuck him.
Basically. She doesn't say it like that, but she does.
She even says she doesn't care about his face with how cool he is.
No. Hot British guy has a friend at school who's also a pink lady, but never hangs out with the others. She's called Frenchie, and they actually have chemistry together. As in the characters, and also they meet and have a talk while they're doing like chemistry homework or something. And if this movie was made 20 years later, they would end up together because they actually, like, she seems to like him. Which isn't hard because he's fucking hot. Also, he's smart and kind and nice.
I'm not sure if I want to say they had chemistry, but they spoke to each other.
More than everybody else!
They spoke to each other normally for like 5 minutes.
And she actually cares about him, like, oh no, you're gonna hurt yourself, don't do this.
Yeah, which was different.
Yes! Because everybody else just goes, this is boring, I'm horny,
I wouldn't call
asshole.
that chemistry necessarily.
More than the others. Anyway, Frenchie never shows up again after this point. She just doesn't. She's just not on screen.
No, we've seen her. She just doesn't really have any.
Effectively, she's out of the movie at this point. After
her role has been done.
To him. The entire rest of the movie goes like this. Hot guy regrets not telling hot girl that he is the mysterious rider, so he just shows up at her work at a gas station, goes for a joyride with her, which somehow takes 6 hours.
And no, you're wrong, he did try to tell her, but she kept going like, don't talk to me, you're too boring for me.
That's because he was British guy then.
Yeah.
Now he went
but
to her.
But he did try to tell her, as he is, that he is the hot guy that they shared a moment with.
Of course, yeah, but because he's smart, then nobody wants to pay attention to him because he's smart, and that's a crime in America in the 1970s.
It's not cool.
60s. It's not cool. And cool is all that matters. So he goes to her work while dressed in his get-up. He goes for a ride with her for like 6 hours. They kiss. And then he wants to tell her it's him. He hasn't yet, right?
There he also wants to tell her, but then the rival gang from the bowling alley suddenly shows up.
Yeah, but the bad guys show up again.
Oh, no, it wasn't them. It was the T-Birds, actually.
Oh, true, sorry. They all look the same.
Wrong moment. It was the T-Birds from his school that are out to get him because he is cooler than they are and they don't like that.
Yes, because, they're jelly. Anyway, so he drives off and then there's an argument between hot girl and leader guy. The next scene I remember is a kind of sexual assault where I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's shock laughter. Where the T-Birds set up a moment where there is a nuclear attack because, the movie plays during the Cold War. That was a real fear back then. So one of them gets together with a girl he likes and they take shelter in this nuclear bunker that they have because, again, Cold War, that's the thing.
Oh, that had a really good song.
And no, it wasn't. It was disgusting.
Basically, he was convincing the girl he was stuck with to have sex with him because this might be their last moment.
Yes.
And
Uncle Sam wants us to do it.
And it turned into this whole song that she must have sex with him because if he gets
shot,
if he gets sent out to war, this might be his last moment, and the US of A would want them to have children and they should do it all for Disneyland.
Something like that.
It was a brilliant song.
That's an actual line, do it for Walt Disney, something like that.
Do it for Disney.
And at first she is against this because, no, not good vibes. But by half of a song, she's getting into it. She is willing to do it.
After he said that her mother would approve. And then she's like, oh, are you sure my mother would approve? Then it's okay. But they didn't get to it.
In Mickey voice. I don't have a better Mickey voice, sorry. Anyway, of course the jig is up because somehow the door opens because the other two horn dogs are listening in when she runs off. Hot British guy does a cliff jump for seemingly no reason, unprompted, and dies.
No, to be cool.
Oh yeah, he's trying to be cool, show off again, jumps on a cliff
jump.
like Evil Knievel style and dies.
And then the kids are like,
oh no, he's dead.
Oh, let's go back to prom.
Oh, now we need to go back to school because now we have the talent show happening. Nobody calls the police, nobody bothers telling anybody. They just go back to school. The talent show
was still really fun though. We left him for that, all forgotten, and then there's this Hollywood production thing going on.
Real quick, what else are you gonna do? He's already dead, right? He fell down the cliff.
It doesn't matter anymore. So there's this Hollywood production of a song going on that all the Pink Ladies prepared. And
eventually there's a whole montage of a whole sequence of different songs that everybody performs and stuff, and
it was done pretty well. And then when it's our girls'
the
song,
Pink Ladies have a whole long thing planned, and they get halfway in until
towards the end, because she was winter. It was a song about the seasons. They arrived at winter, and our Pink Lady got to sing her song, and she was like, you know what? Fuck all of this. No. It was fuck all. Everything we prepared. She started zoning out and thinking about the death of Mr. Cool Rider. And
she doesn't say fuck it. She's going out on stage and clearly has PTSD from the guy fucking dying.
Anyway, and she went with her own song.
Yes, she has a PTSD style breakdown, and suddenly she starts singing. She sees him in heaven.
About the tragic loss of her Cool Rider, and then somehow she ruined the act of everyone else, but came out the winner of winner of the talent show.
Yes,
with her sad song.
But there is no time to celebrate now. Just having won and having borne your heart in front of the whole school, because now we need to go do the luau. There is a party after this thing, and everybody has a song and dance for that as well. Nothing makes sense. if it seems like we're talking weird, it doesn't make sense in the movie either.
From that point on, the movie still lasted half an hour.
Yes!
It just felt like there was no end to the movie. Like, where do you stop it?
Then they have the luau, they're just doing a song and dance, and here comes Hollywood of the time and age. They have a little pool. It's comparatively big. They have a little float on there with a technically prom king and queen, but it's the king and queen of the talent show. So it's a T-Bird leader asshole guy and blonde hot girl that won by
ruining the show
a moment on the stage. Anyway, and again, the evil guys from the first movie show up because they've been dealt a bad hand and now they want to ruin it for everybody and they just break down the stalls and stuff that people have set up.
They come in bikes, they chase everyone on bikes. Pure chaos.
Until, out of nowhere, hot British guy jumps in with his bike again and drives around in circles. People are like, oh my god, he's alive! And then he jumps over the pool because suddenly there's ramps. And in the shot where he jumps over them, the people are not in the pool. Then 20 seconds later, there's a shot of people in the pool.
No, you got it wrong. When he jumped over the talent, queen and king, over the pool. They were still on the raft in the pool when he jumped over them. But he was being chased by the bad guys, and the bad guys who followed right after him from the ramp couldn't obviously make the jump because they're not cool. So they landed in the pool with their bike, and suddenly the raft with the people on it were gone.
But then the next scene, 20 seconds later, the raft is back in the pool and they argue about paddling. It's a pool, you can stand in it. Also, the guy with the bike that fell in is gone. Apparently it's not a pool, it's the Mariana Trench, and if you fall in there, you're dead. It's the swamp in Hinamizawa.
Anyway, obviously he saved the day. He got rid of all the biker guys by making them crash into each other, all of that stuff, you know.
They just leave at some point because they're not cool enough.
Then he reveals who he is, finally, and we're all like, he's alive, and it was you all along. And then it was like, oh, fuck it, I love you, even though you're you, but I gotta date a T-Bird, so suddenly the T-Birds accepted him into his group.
The T-Birds who've been bullying and using him for their homework the entire movie, wanting to beat him up and shit, suddenly go, yeah, you're one of us now. And he takes the jacket and puts it on. And then the girl goes, oh, now that you're a T-Bird, I can date you because I'm a pink lady. And then they start singing, and then it's graduation, and somehow this movie lasted 2 hours. And everybody sucks. There is not a single redeeming character in this movie.
Lesson of the movie? Be cool. Yeah?
I don't want to be the cool that they use as a definition. One last thing, because I shushed you earlier when you were talking about this. The actors in this movie are all 30 to 50 years old, playing teenagers. The leader of the bad guys, the ones you're supposed to dislike,
he still looked relatively young.
He looks like he's 50.
No.
45.
He doesn't look that old. The leader of the T-Birds?
Not the T-Birds, the bad guys, the blonde one.
Oh yeah, he was. And he had like half of his face was completely burnt for some reason. I guess they wanted some sort of...
He looks grizzled. He looks... If you tell an AI to show you a picture of grizzled biker guy, but make him greaser, you probably will get that image. Not because of his movie, but because like it ticks all the boxes of cliches.
Is that horror character Freddy Krueger?
It didn't look that bad.
Excuse me, the entire half of... What? The entire half of his face was burned.
Tiff and I have watched different cuts of the movie.
I'm gonna Google the image for you so that you can see Grease to bad guys. Actually, everyone is a bad guy in Grease to...
Leo Balmudo. There, he looks like a 45-year-old with bad skin.
If it was actually...
This guy is not even ugly.
No,
he just looks like he's 45. Which is not something that's wrong.
But yeah, the majority of the actors were very clear not teenagers.
One last horrible thing. Again, by today's standards, I guess when the movie came out, this was completely normal. For some reason, with the cool kids, there's this one girl, what do they call her? Woodchuck? But her name is actually Dolores, something like this. And she's like 12.
Oh, the young girl. No, she's supposed to be 16.
Okay, she looks like she's 12. She's the only character that doesn't look like she's 3 times the age of the age she's supposed to be playing. She looks like she's 12. And at the beginning, she goes to hot British transfer student guy and goes, well, if you other girls don't want you, I guess you can go on a date with me. Something like that. And goes, yeah, I'll go on a date with you, I'll walk you home. And he kisses her on the cheek. But there is no air about this being like, that's just a joke.
I want to say he said it in a way that was obviously joking, but for the sake of the movie, it was still funny.
Didn't work with me.
Oh, and before he started dating the hot girl we were after, she also came back and was like, oh, I guess we gotta break up so that you can date her.
And from a writing perspective, this, like, I guess he's supposed to be 17, if a 17-year-old dating the 16-year-old, like, whatever, right? But if you put the 2 actors next to each other, he also looks like he is on the younger side, I want to say, when the movie was made. He looks like late 20s, something like that. And she looks 12. Who watched this? Like, after they edited the movie for release, who looked at this and went like, no notes. It's perfect.
So obviously,
Grease 2 is a vile, steaming pile of shit. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and it is worse than the B movie. I'm sorry for ranting about this for like 20 minutes, but I had to get it out of my system.
Is it worse than the B movie?
Yes,
because the B movie is pretty good.
No, the B movie is bad. The jokes are crap. The plot is weird, but the plot...
I agree.
The plot has a plot. You know what I'm saying? The plot isn't good, the writing isn't great, but you can draw a line from the beginning of a movie to the end and like it gels, it makes sense. Like characters have motives and they act on them. In Grease 2, not so much.
If you haven't seen Grease 2 though, I do recommend watching it, even though you've just heard the entire movie. I kid you not, the entire movie. I still recommend watching it.
If you get the chance, feel free to watch it. You're welcome to tell me that you loved it. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because I hate something doesn't mean other people can't enjoy it. I would love to hear what exactly about it makes you enjoy it. I know we watched it with Benjima and he said he's seen it a bunch as a kid and he kind of liked it. And like, I get it, maybe if you grew up with it. The same reason I like games like Sonic Adventure, even though they're not great.
Yeah, but some movies are just so bad that they're enjoyable to watch. Like you watch Twilight at times.
Yeah.
Because they're so bad. Because they get funny.
To me,
this is the type of movie. It's like Cats the Musical. That was a bad watch, by the way.
I want to tell you that you're wrong there. Because I'm the kind of person, I like the Twilight movies, not because I like the movies in the way they're supposed to be, or where they were thought that people would enjoy them, but because I like ripping them to shreds. I like riffing on them. But I have to agree, or I have to say, that for everything I can nitpick and dislike about Twilight, there are actually genuine great moments in there. There are some camera shots, some cinematography, where you can tell that somebody cared. And despite all my loving to hate on the movies, the plot in Twilight, at least there's a plot. Again, people have motives. I make fun of them. I don't love them. But they have motives. Sometimes I forget about it, but usually there's motives and there's character development.
Well, in Grease too, plenty of people care too, but it just wasn't the writers.
I really want to check now that I've seen it, and with like a day or so in between to like simmer down. I want to see if I can find like a making of kind of behind the scenes documentary. I want to see if it was the actors did the best they could with a script they had to use, or it's just everybody just phoned it in because whatever, it's a paycheck, right? I gotta eat.
Nah, this wasn't on the actors.
Yeah, I've seen some of them in other roles, and
you
they
can't save
did
those
well.
lines. You cannot save the lines that were given there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But then I ask myself, did anybody speak up? Because Star Wars is a great example. There's this clip that's floating around on the internet of Mark Hamill over the years, again and again, talking about this. In the original Star Wars, now Episode 4, A New Hope, there is a line where they see the Death Star, and there's this little short conversation like, oh, it's the Death Star. And in the original draft, Luke had a line like, oh my god, I wonder if they'll do the same thing as they did on this planet and this planet. And it's like this 30-second run-on sentence that makes sense in the Star Wars lore, but nobody speaks like this. Nobody can make that line work. And so they cut it. So they got rid of it. And there's plenty of instances, you can look it up, Star Wars actors complaining, where they went like, George, you can... I think Harrison Ford is famous for doing that, like, George, you can write these lines, but I can't fucking say them.
Yeah, but that's completely different.
Grease 2 is the epitome of that.
You cannot compare it, and you can't put this on the actors. Can you speak up about a line here and there that doesn't make sense? Yes, absolutely. But you get a script already, and if you go, the majority of the script's pretty good, I'm gonna do it. With Grease 2, if you read the script and you go like, oh, why didn't they object to it? They had to object to the entire movie.
Yes.
Then you just go, I'm not going to do this. This is a paycheck and I'm going to accept it.
Which is why I'm thinking, I hope that everybody went into this like, yeah, whatever, I gotta eat. I gotta pay bills. I need a project. I need a role. I need to work on something.
Yeah, but you can't then go like, oh, why didn't they speak up? The entire movie is bad.
Yeah, but maybe somebody tried and I would like to learn about this. Why can't I
to rewrite the entire movie.
Why can't I be interested in getting to know how this shit pile was made? Why do you...
Yes, but I'm stuck on your... that they should have spoken up about the lines they were given. If it's one line, I agree with you. If it's an entire movie, you don't just go, hey, I accept this job, and then go like, oh, we need to rewrite the entire script because this movie blows.
I'm sorry I used words that made you go completely the other way of the conversation I wanted to have. What I meant to say was, I would like to know how this came to be in the shape it ended up. And I would love to know if somebody, maybe all of them, maybe nobody, but if anybody went like, hey, you sure about this? Because
well, you go look that up.
Maybe all of them did band together and went like, hey, like, we're happy to be here, but can we like spin this around? And then the studio was like, no. Take your food and eat it. Either you're in or you're out, we're not changing shit. Because that stuff happens too. And I can kind of understand that too, because if you put all of your money into this being made, I pay for this, I decide how it's made.
Well, nepotism could be a part of it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe.
But this story you absolutely cannot forgive. But it is logically, consistently bad.
There's I'm beginning to stutter and stammer. There is no consistency to Grease 2 because there is no logic to begin with. Anyway, I want to talk about a story that is infinitely better written, no matter how much it confuses me. Hey Tifa, what happened the last time we played Grease 2? I mean,
we go from recap to recap.
Yes, it's a recap kind of day. Hey Tifa, what happened the last time we played Higurashi When They Cried Chapter 2 Watanagashi?
The last time we played, we decided it was all getting a bit too much for us and we would stay home. But we didn't tell our friend.
The reason...
I was still putting my thoughts into my mind.
Please stop talking, you're confusing even me.
But I said one line. And that is where we were.
So Keiichi had a talk with Ooishi in the back of a police car once again, in which Ooishi revealed that, hey,
no, that was already finished.
Shion is dead or disappeared. And of course, Keiichi would then ask himself, so then who have I been talking to, and how, what, why? He had a breakdown. So that's the setup for the beginning of last stream, if I recall correctly. He decided
that it was all getting a bit too much and he would stay at home, which is exactly how I started.
Wait, we're skipping the part of a phone call.
Phone call doesn't really matter. Oh wait, the phone call.
The same night there was a phone call with Eon.
No, yeah, true. The phone call does matter. I take it back.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's kind of a single most pivotal moment of the story so far.
In my mind that came later, but no, that's not true.
You know, the last time I was this salty at you was Super Mario Wonder. It's shocking that I have to whip it out now. Shion, or somebody sounding like Shion, did call again that night. Keiichi had a talk with her, eventually trying to push the point, like, when did you talk to the mayor? Because he's been told by Ooishi that A, there was no chance anybody could have talked to the mayor about what happened, and B, Shion doesn't exist. You know, she's gone. So he kept pushing and pushing. Eventually he just abandoned all finesse and just flat out asked her, when did you do this? Did you kidnap him? And then the crying, sobbing, hysterical Eon on the other side did the heel turn, and we went from crying girl on the phone to close up of a Joker face where he hung up, went to bed, because what else are you gonna do? And now it's the next day.
She hung up, by the way.
She hung up too, sorry. And everything is fucked, but I guess you gotta go to school, right? And meet the person who potentially murdered all of the others. But maybe let's not go to school, because that's a dumb idea. And even Keiichi's parents tell him, hey, you look like shit, and stuff has happened. Maybe it's safe if you take it off. Until Reina rings the door to pick them up.
We're supposed to go to school in groups, so Reina came to pick us up, seeing how we were a bit late already anyway. And she gave us some flyers. One of them was one from the Sonozaki residence that was like, hey, we have...
No, it was the instructions on what to do for security. While this happened, Keiichi...
Instructions what to do for security?
Yes,
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Not just, it was a whole bunch of flyers that were being sent around.
Look it up.
I can look it up, but one of the flyers, it doesn't matter what was on the other bunch of the flyers.
We're not at that point yet.
Yes, it is.
No, we're not. Let me continue.
Oh my god.
Reina gives him a stack of papers for his parents with the security stuff, like only go in groups, pick up your kids, all of this.
They were flyers.
When Keiichi has a talk with Reina and owns up to the fact that he feels responsible for all of this because he did break into the thing, he comes clean. And that that this is not how the punishment should be. Reina slaps him across the face and tells him, well, don't do this again. You should have told Mion. It might not have been as bad if you had owned up to the fact. If you don't do stupid things, and if you do, go apologize immediately.
Not been this bad. This might not have happened if you did this, basically blaming us.
Pish posh.
No, it's not. That's an important difference.
Potato.
You're a potato.
Talk about flyers someone in a moment. Anyway, Reina punishes Keiichi to the best of her ability, which kind of makes him feel better about it in a little bit. After he's been slapped, because of the shock of being slapped across the face, he drops the papers, and as he picks them up again, he notices that with the stack of papers that he's supposed to give his parents for how to keep the village safe, is a flyer from the Sonozaki family stating that they have been sent barrels worth of soy sauce, and that anybody who wants soy sauce should come over to the Sonozaki family to get some, because they're giving them away for free. Effectively confirming that it was the Sonozakis. He talks to Reina about this, and Reina knew. Because she read the thing. She had already thought it might have been Mion or Shion, one of them, the Sonozaki family at least, and now she knows as well. And then they make the decision, let's go there.
Let's confront Mion and make her stop this and turn herself into the police.
That seems to be Reina's angle. Keiichi's I took more as I'm going into my doom. Like, very aware that this is a suicide mission, like going to get punished for the things he's done.
Nah, he went in wanting, or I took it as he wanted to go in, get berated, offer his apologies, then stop it, but not to go to his doom.
When
I think that's an
they
important
left Keiichi's house and Ooishi is standing there with his car.
Surprise.
So then Reina and Keiichi go into the car, they tell Ooishi everything, and we learn that, as we had seen in the tip previously, Ooishi and a lot of the police people have actually set up an illegal operation to try to get to the Sonozaki family, wanting to use Keiichi as bait. And we have just agreed to do this, and now we're on our way to our play date with a demon.
Yeah. It was made very clear that Ooishi was going to use us all along.
Yes,
for this purpose.
Something needs to happen because the police, Ooishi in this case, have exhausted all legal means to get a warrant, to get into the house, to look at things. All has been shut down because the Sonozaki family has their tentacles everywhere and they are too powerful. So the only way to get in is if something were to happen. So now something will happen. At least that's the plan.
So we're gonna go play with Mion. Or Shion.
I still think that it's Shion who hates Mion for being the true heir, killed Mion, pretends to be Mion to take over from her. And then that. I had another theory while I was under the shower earlier.
But I do think that they're just trying to make us go through all of those loops, and in the end it's still Mion.
Also possible. But I have another theory. It's not a continuation of what I just said, it clashes with that. What if... I mean, Tomitake-san and Takano-san are dead. They are fated to die in every iteration of Higurashi for some reason. What if the mayor and Rika are alive and well at the Sonozaki house, and this plot was set up to punish the people who went into the storehouse? Tomitake and Takano are dead already, so that's out of the question. Shion is gone effectively, because in my head Shion killed Mion, saying that was Shion, so taken care of.
What stops her from being captured and held prisoner in the basement too?
Because we need a twist. And I still want to think it's Shion doing all of this shit. And the only one who still trespassed is Keiichi. And the reason why the other leaders of the big three families, as in the Mayor Kimiyoshi and Rika, have gone missing is because they're in on this and they're conglomerating at the Sonozaki house to go full Watanagashi on Keiichi and eat him alive.
Okay, interesting, but I do not believe so. I could have been with you up until the fact that the mayor and Rika are in on it.
I will not be shocked if we find them sitting there drinking their barley tea and sipping miso soup or whatever.
Could they be prisoners in a basement? Yes.
No, not even prisoners, willingly there, because they...
Yeah, but could they be prisoners in a basement? Yes. Could they be in on it? Nah.
I doubt.
Nah, I don't think Rika is gonna be that character.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Are you ready, Tifa?
I am ready.
Am I ready?
Go
As I scratch my head. There we go. Time to Higu some Russies once again. There we are. End of page 3. Oh, she stopped the car at the place where we always waited for Mion. Come to think of it, I've never been to Mion's house before. I've only heard that it's right down this road. And this is as far as I can take you. According to our information, there are quite a few security cameras set up on the premises. Still, don't worry. I've got a bunch of youngsters ready and waiting to... I've got a bunch of youngsters ready and waiting to slip past them and go in. We'll be monitoring the inside with a one-way mic, so if you two give a loud scream, we'll know right away. Just scream real loud.
We'll persuade her for sure, so please be ready for her to turn herself in.
Also, a one-way microphone. Isn't that a microphone?
Yeah, but usually in the movies you also get a piece where you can hear them.
Yeah, but that's not a microphone, that's...
I think they just wanted to make that clear. That they don't have that piece.
Fair enough. In both our eyes was determination. Suddenly Undertale. It was the only method available to us for lightening the sins of our good friend. Be plenty careful here. You probably don't believe it right now, but I don't want you two being sacrificed if at all possible. You're right about that. With that rude response, we left the car. The clinging humidity and voices of the cicadas greeted us. I'd never have expected this would be happening today.
Let's go. Keiichi-kun?
Can you slap some courage into me, please, Reina? Reina took the lead and began to walk down the road I'd never been. Reina, you've been to Mion's house before, right?
Yeah, a few times. It's a really big house. You could fit a mountain into their backyard too. You can pick mushrooms and stuff, though there are fences everywhere.
Big enough to fit a mountain? That was amazing. One of the 3 families controlling Hinamizawa and the head family of the Sonozaki clan. Perhaps there was something to be said about its magnitude. The path continued onward, level and uneventful. There were metal fences along its edges, and beyond them were woods with trees growing thickly. The fences were high. The tops of them bent inwards, sticking out like sharp spears. Plus, there was a dangerous-looking barbed wire wrapping them. No one could look at them and not feel intimidated. Wait, if a fence is bent inward, doesn't that seem to imply that the fences are there to keep something inside, not to keep others outside?
Maybe they have a cat.
Really? I was thinking more like demons and stuff.
The fence would stop that. We don't even know what they look like.
Only Tifa would set up a NATO defense fence for a cat.
What makes you think a demon would be stopped by a fence if they destroyed half a village before?
I don't know how demonism works here. Fair enough, maybe they're allergic to fences. The cat. The coolest cat in all of Japan. In addition, there were signboards hung up here and there along the fence. Private property of the Sonozaki family, entrance forbidden. Beware of venomous snakes. Active security cameras. Intruders will be charged an entry fee of 1 million yen. This forest, or should I say mountain, is this all their yard?
It's more like their domain. As you can see, it's private property, but nobody maintains it. The forest isn't really the kind that you can go hiking in.
You could say that again. It really did feel like a neglected, savage woodland. It was dark and damp, and certainly not a forest that made you want to go for a nice walk. Maybe that's just what happens when a landowner has too much land. Like ooishi-san said, there were security cameras hung up all over the place. Though they had been weathered by wind and rain, casting doubt as to whether they were even functional. Or maybe that's even intentional.
Probably, yeah.
You know, if you go so far with your sense of security that you make it look like it isn't working and run down, but it actually is.
I think it's just to make people not come to your property.
I wonder if Mion is watching us as we come to her.
I don't think she is. The only people living in Michan's house are generally her and her grandma, after all.
Welcome back, Dark Lord. How have you been?
What he said. There's nobody to watch the cameras.
What did Useless security system.
In the main house, there probably is.
I got donuts.
Ooh,
Where are mine?
Nice.
What did you all get?
Haven't had donuts in a long time.
Quick, what's your favorite donut?
Lemon.
Boston cream.
Boston cream is quite nice. What type of donuts did you all get?
Out of the classic ones? Oh wait, I'm lying. I've got 3 donuts that are all my top one, depending on how I feel. Boston cream, a simple chocolate glazed donut, that with a nice coffee. I love the simplicity. As I swallow my own spit. Or a chocolate donut with chocolate frosting. You know, where they put like cocoa and stuff in the dough already?
I find those usually very dry.
Yeah, it depends on who makes them.
It's the same with like chocolate cake and stuff. The moment you add cacao into the dough, I find the majority of them turn a bit too dry for my taste.
Yeah, that can happen. But basically, I'm a slut for things with chocolate. Glazed cake with a chocolate chip muffin. Ooh.
That sounds tasty.
Sounds nice.
Could totally have a donut now. Ooh, or like a filled raspberry cream.
That's good.
That's really good.
We're having donuts tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Monday, so no.
Why can't we have donuts on a Monday?
When are we gonna get donuts?
After work?
Oh, yeah, I guess that is an option.
We're adults, Tifa. We can do things when we want to.
That's very true.
The gym is open till 10. I've got all day. Just saying. Sorry, you were reading a line.
Michan's father seems like a pretty tough person to get along with. So whenever everyone in the family is getting together, the cameras are apparently working properly.
That's right. Mion's father, he's a big shot yakuza, wasn't he? Rena smoothly danced around the answer as she explained. At last, a huge gate as big as I'd imagined appeared. Was she living by herself with her grandmother in a house with such a grand gateway? Does that thing have 2 doors? Like the gate in the middle and then the door that I guess most people use because it's just way more convenient.
Yeah, you have a small door for people and a big door for
bigger
like,
people.
Yes.
For demons.
For like maybe cars, stuff that needs to be delivered.
I wonder if she is here.
Beep.
The old buzzer made a dull sound. Was it cut off in the middle and not getting to the house? We waited long enough without a response for me to start thinking like that. However, we finally heard footsteps walking through gravel on the other side of the gate. I nervously balled my hands, my palms now sweating into fists. There was a clang of a bolt being released and the gate opened slightly. The person peeking out of the gap was none other than Mion.
Well, this is unusual. Aren't you two going to school?
Mion didn't seem all that surprised at visitors arriving in the morning, which wasn't a normal time. In fact, she almost seemed relaxed, as if she knew we were coming beforehand. Yeah, it's almost like the cameras do work,
We stayed home today. Kei-chan is one thing, but you two, Reina? You two are such troublemakers.
Mion smiled lightly in the way that the Mion we always knew did.
Well, let's not just stand here. Come on in.
Is now the right moment for the loud scream so that the police shows up? She gestured us to follow her. I hesitated for a moment, looking at Reina.
Let's go.
Reina smiled cheerfully as if she were passing through the gate of a good friend's house, and then did just that. I rally myself and then go through the gate too. On the other side, it hadn't been maintained very well, but it was very clear that the lot was magnificently wide. It wasn't quite what you'd think when you hear mansion, but it was very clearly a vast place.
Was this the first time you've been here, Kei-chan?
Yeah. This house is enormous.
That looks nice. Steep thatched roofs aren't in fashion anymore. This place could be a tourist attraction. I want to rebuild it using totally average and boring reinforced concrete soon.
Reinforced. Mion dryly smiled as she said that, then closed the gate and relocked the heavy bolt.
Don't worry about it. Things have been dangerous lately. Gotta do at least this much during the daytime.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it was my imagination, but I thought I saw the hint of a shadow in her smile.
Well then, good sir and madam, I shall show you inside. Please come this way.
Mion bowed to us like a worker at a high-class hotel, then pivoted on her heel and began to walk.
Plenty of space to bury us on this land?
I was thinking the same thing when they went like, oh yeah, it's actually a huge area and not well maintained. Yeah, I would argue that stuff also really grows well if you fertilize the grounds with the bodies of your victims.
Yeah.
You know?
Humans are great fertilizers, I imagine.
Rena gripped my stiffening arm lightly.
Keiichi-kun, you're too tense. We came to see Michan, remember? You don't need to be that nervous.
That's right. When I get nervous, I tend to let everything show on my face. I'll stop tensing up. Even if something were to happen, there were two of us. Ooishi-san's subordinates were waiting outside the gate for us too. There was nothing to worry about. After thinking about it that much, I realized my nervousness was already gone and laughed at myself.
Why do I think inside the house they have something that can disrupt the signals?
First of all, probably. I wouldn't be too shocked. I would have that if I was a big-wig Yakuza guy.
Basically, yeah. Like a jammer, what do you call them?
Yeah, a signal jammer. Also, it's really sweet that he thinks this will help. That there's two of them and that the police is right outside. I mean, I understand, unlike Tifa does, that the images are just there to give us a general idea of the place. But it's supposed to be huge. They've been walking for a while to get there. The police still needs to cover that distance, you know?
Well, they have cars and it's about the reinsurance that there is someone that has your back and knows you're in there.
They have cars. What does that mean? That they're gonna drive through the walls or the fences or the gates?
Yeah, but it's reinsurance, like I said. You're not fully in there by yourself.
Guess those are kind of the same in America. What do you mean?
What?
The big-wig Yakuza guys?
Well, they don't want to say so.
In a state with big walls and a drive, you have to come all the way down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the long drive into it.
It's the same in Europe as well. I really think that's just a universally agreed upon power move kind of thing. The idea of I see you as you drive or walk up to me, like from my little tower, and like it instills a certain feeling in you as you drive up or you walk the stairs, the steps to get to the place, you know? It makes the entry even more grand.
I don't even think it's an I see you, but I think it's more of a see what I have.
Yeah, that adds to it. Yeah. That's why, this is really dumb, but I grew up with movies like Richie Rich. Every time I get to stay at a hotel that has this little like drive-in section. Like it doesn't even need to be a fancy one with like valets and stuff standing around. Just
half a circle in front of the door.
Yeah, just enough so that like a taxi or something or people with like lots of luggage in their car can just drive in there, drop that off and then keep driving. That makes me feel like I'm a trillionaire.
It's the big shot energy.
Yeah, it's a little thing. I mean, it's not a little thing, but you know, it's details like that. What's this? Mion, what's with a stone on top of a newspaper? It's in the way. There was a pile of newspapers on the floor of the entrance, and there was a large rock on top of them. I didn't understand why something like that was here. Rena noticed me looking at it questioningly and giggled. Rena, do you know? What is this? Some kind of good luck charm?
If you don't really know, then feel free to move it out of the way and put your shoes there. A stack of newspapers? Keiichi-kun, there's a nest of swallows right above that stone.
Oh, okay, I get it. Huh? Oh, you're right.
Wait, so there's a stack of newspapers on the floor.
Yeah.
That they put a big stone on.
Yes.
And then swallows decided to make a nest.
No, it's the other way around. The swallows came in there, built a nest, and I'm guessing in Japan too, you're not allowed to destroy or move a swallow's nest. In Germany, I think that's illegal. They're a protected species. So, what are you gonna do? I'm pretty sure that swallows shit outside of a nest. So they just put paper underneath and then a stone on top of the paper so that the paper doesn't move when they open the door and there's wind.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
That's our Mion, always taking care of small, adorable animals.
I know, right? So cute, I want to take her home.
So sweet. Absolutely adorable.
Problem I had at my hotel is that they're endangered when they're nesting. Oh, okay. I didn't know that there was that distinction. I thought just the bird alone is enough. And when you see the bird, it's like...
No, you're not allowed to move the nests.
So we can do every window corner and shit everywhere. I mean, bird's gonna bird, right?
I remember once going past a construction site and they had these huge hills of sand, where they dump all of it in there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That was near the Baltic Sea.
Yeah, exactly.
They were remodeling part of this beach area. So they moved this huge pile of all the sand that they didn't need yet for building off to the side.
It was adorable because the sand hills were covered with holes and we were at first wondering why that was because it also looked kind of creepy.
Being city kid, I'm like, it's probably rats, stay away. But then you hear chirping.
And then I think it was the next day during the day that we walked past it and you saw all the swallows going in and out of the holes. So construction got delayed because the sandhills were now all claimed by the swallows who started nesting inside of it.
I think eventually they came to some sort of agreement with a local animal welfare group. That sounds disrespectful, I just don't know the name. So they did actually move all the swallows out of that place. Because, it was the middle of a construction site. They couldn't stay there. But it did delay things for quite a bit. It was kind of funny that something so...
A sandhill.
So, first of all, just the sand that they put on the side. But when... that something so small and frail like a bird can have this much impact in the bigger scheme of things. Imagine you are trying to build a house, a hotel, whatever. And then somebody goes, yeah, you can't do that. It's like, why? Because there's one bird nesting there. Can't we move a bird? No, it's not allowed.
That's really sweet.
I think it's really adorable.
This house is for people, but swallows still come in without permission and make nests. It must be like a tradition for them. Whenever spring comes, they always make a nest here.
Somehow talking about swallows made me cry. Here, have some tears.
It's kind of annoying though. In other words, it's a sign to not take off your shoes here, because swallow poop could end up in them.
I couldn't help but laugh at the silly contrivance. My laughter naturally spread to the other two.
A really long time ago, the Sonozaki family apparently cultivated silkworms. Our ancestors would get all worked up over exterminating the swallows. When you think of it that way, maybe this is our just desserts. Anyway, come on in.
If you want to see something kind of disgusting and gruesome, look up how silk is made.
It's a really weird process.
Spoilers, it involves cooking the worms usually. So yeah, having swallows come in and shit in your place does, to me, feel like very just desserts. The inside of the house wasn't very bright at all. It was dimly lit, in fact, but mysteriously I could still... It was dimly lit, in fact, but mysteriously I could still feel an elegance to the place. Mion seemed to want a more modern building, but traditional houses like this aren't bad either.
You're kidding, right? There's a terrible draft and the winters are freezing. Don't go making my house into property of cultural significance and getting in the way of renovations, got it?
No, please do actually, that would be really funny.
What I want most is a house like yours, Keiichi. I'm pretty jealous of it. It seems like it would be warm in the winter. Oh, but snowfall seems like it would be a problem.
Snowfall's a problem? Does Hinamizawa get that much snow? Our latitude is south of Kanto, isn't it? Isn't this region warm?
You don't know, Keiichi-kun? Hinamizawa is an area that gets heavy snowfalls. When we get a lot, everyone gets buried. Sometimes you can't even get out of your house.
Also, if they're south of Kanto, I wonder what kind of Pokemon they have.
Sometimes your car totally gets buried too and you can't find where it is.
I wasn't aware of that. Hinamizawa was that bad a place in the winter?
I kind of feel like if you live in a place or move to a place,
You
you
should
should be aware of that.
I mean, his parents probably, yeah.
I suppose.
But we don't really ever talk to them now, do we?
That is true. I was gonna say, like, don't you talk to your parents then before moving as well? But yeah, okay, yeah, fair.
Come to think of it, my dad, he said something like, this place got plenty of snow, so we could have fun building igloos. See, they did actually talk about this.
Oh.
The power of me pressing A for once.
I didn't say anything.
Still, your front door getting buried, not being able to find your car? That's way too much snow.
I don't think I've ever been in a place with that much snow. The most was when I was 20 years younger, so probably a bit shorter too, like until under my knees, from what I remember.
Okay, now I get what you were saying. I've been to some areas with really heavy snowfall, again as a kid, and then it was like somewhere between my hips and my chest.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but it was like out in the countryside, on a mountain.
Oh, I was going to a place once that has that much snow.
I think we'll need to get you like a security outfit first. Not security, a safety outfit, like something with like reflectors and stuff, because you seem like the kind of person that would get lost. Or cause an avalanche. Yeah.
Probably. Remember a few years ago we had a shit ton of snow with like below 10 degrees. Wait, with 10 degrees?
Below.
Oh, below.
Minus 10.
Yeah, never mind.
The worst winter, or two actually stand out to me. One was like 10 years ago now or so, where in the wind chill we hit temperatures that felt like minus 40 degrees. Like we had this like super strong Siberian winter wind coming over Germany. And I want to say the measured temperature was like minus 20 something. But spending like half an hour wrapping yourself like an onion in layers of clothing to go outside.
To still freeze your balls off.
Yeah, to go outside, get like a bus or whatever to go to work. So like you're super warm at home, getting dressed. Then you get down to a normal temperature if you're lucky, or you're gonna be cold outside. Then you get into public transport with the heating blasting. So you're gonna get super warm again. Then you get out to like get to work. Then you get undressed. Oh my god, it was so annoying. It was so annoying.
I had to wear sweatpants under my jeans to go to work, yeah.
It gets really bad. And the other winter was really funny because it lasted exactly 6 months where we lived. From the 1st of December to the last day of April. Every other day was snow. It took until then May to get rid of the fireworks people hadn't picked up on New Year's Day because it got stuck frozen in the new layers of snow and ice. That was so crazy that people would sweep up in May and find fireworks. Like, mind blown. 6 months of consecutive snow and ice.
And that's definitely not weather to cycle to work.
No.
It's not even weather to go to work. More like just stay in.
Yeah, it also was steadily way below freezing, so the ice was like really like solid. Not just like, oh yeah, I'll just sprinkle some salt on it. No, it was like layers of ice. It was really annoying.
Break your ass kind of ice.
Yeah. Hot take, fireworks should be banned. No one needs that waste of money. I agree. Just make a drone shows. You know you can reuse drones.
Drone shows would be a great replacement, but I don't see us going there. And if we must keep fireworks, maybe have every city like a controlled area where they can do their fire shows. But I agree, I don't really see the point of fireworks myself either.
If we have to compromise one per like town, city, okay, I could accept that. But have you seen videos of like drone shows? That's insane. So cool. people get like hundreds, thousands of drones and then program them to fly around like lit up, like one of those like Chinese dragons going through the sky. If I didn't know it was a drone show, if I was like teleported here from like 500 years ago, I would look at it and I would shit myself.
Like
oh my god, it's the end
Olympics
times.
back then. That was awesome.
I love watching those. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's one of the few good uses of drones in general that I can think of.
I don't think we're gonna get there anytime soon, but...
When I will become king of Germany, I will make that happen.
It's gonna be riots. I say before we continue, this is a good moment to also take a short break.
Okay. Guess I'll use this break to look up more drone show videos.
BRB.
BRB.
We're back.
We are. Prussian König.
Prussian?
I guess it depends on which part of a country I start taking over in. I was thinking more like just calling it the Republic of Jack.
Wouldn't you just take over the entire country? Why would you... Were you going state by state?
Oh, you need a cool name in the beginning at least.
Well, you don't need to change the name. That could stay.
I'll workshop it. Also,
Germany.
What?
Or Germany, but with a J.
But for what?
A
Jackmany. Jackmany.
No, you can stick to Germany, but not with a G.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great one, and then everyone can go like, "Oh, Germany! Did they change its name? Yeah, it's now Germany." Germany.
Makes it sound like it's run by German. Yeah.
I think Germany is a great name change.
Or by many Jeremys that shortened their names. This is not a new. No Dark Lord started this one. Also, completely random, but I feel the need to talk about this. I made a cup of tea earlier, and I wanted to drink it cold. That's why you haven't seen this before. And I grabbed a decaf black tea. And I've had plenty of black tea in my life, but can you please confirm to the world that this has a bluish hue to it?
That's the light.
What Tifa is trying to say was, yes, this doesn't look like regular black tea.
But does it taste like regular black tea?
Yeah, it just tastes kind of weak. That could have been because of my preparation of it.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I've never seen blue tea before. I mean, I think I've seen blue tea before, but then it was specifically made to be blue, like Avatar blue or Smurf blue. And this is, I don't know, it looks strange to me. It's still like black tea, but...
It's still...
Oh, Lady Noah loves her some blue tea. It's made with sweet pea. I didn't know that's how it is made.
I think I'm gonna pass on that, but that does sound interesting. I also don't think I've seen it.
I'm sorry, Dark Lord, but you triggered this. I'd rather drink some blue tea made from sweet pea than to drink some sweet pea made from blue tea. Somehow this was really entertaining in my head because it rhymes.
I'm not sure either, Psycho. I mean, I know the feeling that something in your head is really funny and then you type or say it and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. And I think this is one of those moments.
Yeah, but I feel confident sharing that. I don't know, maybe somebody else feels that way too, you know. I was half right, it's made of butterfly pea.
What's a butterfly pea? Wait,
I hope that you will never make the typo and write pea like the other word pea. That looks really nice.
Oh, it's that stuff.
That looks very blue.
That does look very nice, but I don't like that stuff.
I don't think I've ever tried it before.
It looks fancy as hell though.
Yeah. Next time I get the chance, I will try that because that looks elegant. Very elegant.
Now that I see there's this picture of a donut being dipped in a glaze of that stuff. I haven't had it as a tea, but I have had it in cake, I believe it was before.
You've had butterfly pea in cake?
Something that was made of these leaves, yeah. Or it was decoration sprinkled on it, I don't even remember.
Now that I know
but it was
it's
not nice.
Called butterfly pea, I want to make jokes that it's not hygienic.
Why?
Because you make a mistake, you're looking at the word, you're not listening to my voice.
Oh.
Yeah, now it's not funny anymore. See?
I mean...
A butterfly peed in your cake? If it's tasty, you know. I mean, at very least, if a butterfly peed in my cake, I would still eat it, because that's vegetarian. Hello, Nathan. Happy Sunday. How are you doing?
Guess that is true, everything he said. And honestly, I want to say, ew.
It's probably disgusting.
Would you really eat that? But there's worse things out there where I think, ew, do humans eat that? And the answer is yes.
Would you even notice if a butterfly peed on your food? Because I don't think so.
If they pee like cicadas.
I was gonna say, the only insect I know where you would notice if it peed in your food is a cicada, because your food wouldn't still be on the table. It would have been pushed off by the water hose level of stream that washed that away.
Not something I need, no.
Stop looking at blue things.
Yeah, I just closed the tab.
Good.
Glad to hear you're doing well. Random laughing, what was this about? You remember from geography class, right? The western side of Japan gets cold winds from Asia. We're different from those softies protected by the mountains, nice and warm by the Pacific Ocean.
Question, because I don't know if that's a Higurashi thing or if that's a Japanese thing. Japan gets cold winds from Asia. Does Japan not consider itself part of Asia? Because I always thought it is. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and I'm thinking of from the continent.
Yeah,
from the mainland, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
Butterfly peas on your cake, it's good luck. I will totally not try to kidnap the next butterfly I see and then do that.
I always found it so nasty when you had what are those bugs called? Liveair species. A
ladybug?
Ladybugs. I was gonna say
I have no idea what she just summoned when she said that, but it sounded like something cute.
Now that I think about it, ladybug is kinda a funny name because in Dutch it's Liveair species, so it's kinda like...
It's a gentleman bug.
Nice gentleman's bug?
Yeah.
But in English, it's a ladybug. And not a nice gentleman.
If we're already on like ladybugs and nice gentleman bug, if I ever get to name a bug, I would make it like Latin for a nice cock.
Probably a thing. But that's
just
not...
exactly for that reaction when somebody realizes what it's called.
That's not where I was going. I was like remembering when you have like ladybugs walk on your hand. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they also pee on you.
Do they?
You never noticed?
No. I've always washed my hands immediately afterward because, ew, yucky!
Like as a kid, especially when you pick them up and you let them walk over your hand, you notice they left like these super tiny...
No, I always started screaming like, get it off!
With ladybugs?
Yes. I don't like insects. Not on me.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but...
Now I have a ladybug from A Bug's Life. That ladybug is great.
That was a good movie too, by the way.
They are good luck, unless you make them fall over on their back. At least that's what I was told as a kid. My education never went that deep. I know they are a good luck sign, and you can buy like postcards and stuff with them on there, but never the falling or tipping them over. If I see one tipped over, I like try to like floop them around so that they can just walk off.
We do that for all bugs though.
Yeah.
It happens every now and then that you see a bug on its back, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, like a turtle, like...
Stick to my finger, and then you go like...
I'm a friend. How must that feel for them? It's like God suddenly shows up and like helps you. My favorite is when you like pick up a bee or something, and when you carry it around and you put it like on a flower.
Look for a flower.
And when the bee like gets on the flower, turns around and falls straight off again. It's like
that always makes me sad.
I've tried, you know, I've tried to help you. Also, Softy grew up in Florida before moving to California. I've seen snow like 3 times in my life. Do you miss it, though? I guess it's the question.
Snow is so much fun.
I like snow.
Same.
Better than the heat, at least.
But it has to be the right type of snow. Like the snow that sticks so that you can make proper snowballs and stuff with it. It sucks if it just like falls apart and goes...
But you know my favorite type of snow? Snowy snowish.
That's a good one.
Smooth. Don't honestly remember enough to miss it. Fair enough. At least then you don't get to miss it, you know?
That's true.
You can always try to take a vacation somewhere with snow. See if you have missed it. Meanwhile, I'm totally okay with being a softie and nice and warm. I hate the cold. I'm sorry. Wahahaha. I mean, we do know that Mion is kind of disturbed, but not that way. Keiichi, my man. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be warm and safe and like comfy, you know? I never got, oh, you're a softie. Like, yeah, I pay for this. I earned it. I go to work for that.
We'll have to have a training camp to get Keiichi used to the cold this winter then. How about we just put him naked?
It's Shion.
Why?
She just called him Keiichi.
Has Mion never called us Keiichi?
I don't remember. I think so. I think they both call him Keiichi. Really?
I couldn't remember this to be a Shion specific thing.
I was so happy there for a moment.
Though.
I was so happy for a moment.
Close.
Or maybe Darkload is saying that to bamboozle us. I think I'm onto it though. I said it before, there has to, from a writing perspective, if you go with like twists on twists on twists, you want to give like little breadcrumbs so that people can go, oh my god, I know I said that. And I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, but I feel like they set up the swap so much that they want you to believe there is a swap. And then the plot twist will be that there was no swap in the end.
This is Shion. No doubt in my mind.
There's too much of they want you to believe that I don't want to believe that. You know what I mean?
No way. No way. There's no way that's happening. I hate the cold and I hate training camps too. And I hate them even more put together.
How about we just put him naked in one of those hanging ceiling cages? You'll get used to the cold soon enough.
Where did that come from?
She said training camp. Help him make used to it. There's probably a torture dungeon down here too.
Oh, your mind is already in the Watanagashi. That is bound to happen at some point. Yeah. I don't know, does cold human taste better than a warm human? I mean, stuff like sushi you're supposed to eat cold.
I want to say warm. It's probably better.
I don't know. I don't want to find out either. Mion laughed more uproariously than she ever had, then told us she'd bring out some tea and left her seat for a moment.
Still, there's a lot of fun things to do in the winter. I bet our club will be a blast then. There's still a club left.
Mm-hmm. He's never had his flesh fresh. I had sushi with like raw fish once. I spat it out.
It was so not nice.
The texture of raw fish in my mouth. Oh, just for thinking about it. No, I can't do it. More for everybody else. I'll stick to vegetarian versions. Our club continuing activities through the winter sounds totally horrible. Like swimming in the cold or marching in the snow. When did we turn into Mount Redhorn?
I really do love swimming in the cold though.
Every line is a tangent in this game.
No,
I love it.
Like if you go to like an outside open swimming pool, I love it if the swimming pool is a bit heated and it's like snowing or freezing outside.
Tell the story that happened.
I'm going there. I used to love to do that as a kid, where when you go out, you're like half freezing and then you go like...
A couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, we had like 3 weeks off consecutively in middle to late December. And we didn't know what to do with all that time. So Tifa surprised me, going like, hey, I've got an early Christmas gift for you. I'm like, oh, what is it? She's like, pack your bags, we're going to Budapest in Hungary. I'm like, okay, I've never been. Sure, let's do that. So Tifa had booked us 5 days because she had talked to a colleague who had just been there, and they said, oh, do at least like 4 or 5 days. There's so much to see. We've been for a week and we wish we had more time.
I didn't really keep in mind the differences because when we go on a vacation, we walk the entire day, and I'm not even joking. We don't sit in a cafe, we don't have breaks, we don't take a coffee in between. We just have our breakfast and we walk.
Until we get tired, and then we eat something, then we take a break, and then we walk some more. To other people, it's like a death march. For me, I'm exploring the place.
Most people like sit down somewhere
for a few hours and have a coffee and take it all in. I walk around. I walk around the place. I try to see things on like a ground level, see where the people go, see what it would feel like to live here. I keep walking.
It came down to, we saw Budapest in 2 days. Like, yes, everything in Budapest. We've gone through the mountain hills. We've gone through the entire city. We've gone through all of the residential areas. We usually walk like, I wouldn't say like 30 kilometers a day. Between 20, 30 kilometers, and see everything.
An actual good 6 to 8 hours walking.
In as little time frame as possible.
Which was great though, because then the other 3 remaining days we could just go, okay, we can go inside places too, you know, we can just take it easy, maybe do have a coffee and a piece of cake somewhere.
But on one of the days, it was also snowing really badly. Yes. It was snowing a lot, it was freezing, and we were like, you know what, we're going to go to a hot spring. Budapest is known for their natural...
hot thermal baths outside. Thermal baths. Which sounds really cute, because, you know, I've seen anime before. I know the scenes with the monkeys in the onsen with the snow. It looks really cute. Must be nice, right?
I specifically picked one that had an inside and outside one. But we made a mistake and we didn't bring slippers. So at some point we went to the outside bath. All was good.
Also only bought 1 towel each.
And 1 towel each. We went to the outside bath. We enjoyed our time there.
No.
Jack was freezing.
No. I'm sorry for interrupting you all the time, but set this up properly. Tifa starts with me with going to the heated, hot inside bath first. So yeah. I'm nice and cozy and I'm warm. And then Tifa goes, oh no, we gotta go outside. And I'm thinking, no. But then I'm thinking, clearly for the weak, feeble tourists like me, there's like a tunnel, right?
The problems didn't start until the way out though.
The building is gonna lead right to the outside pool and it's just a few steps until I'm back into hot water. Right? No. We walk, we follow the signs, we go outside and it's -8, -10 degrees Celsius. It's pretty cold. Instantly, my nipples can cut diamonds.
And it was like this long path to
because
the outside bath.
Because we didn't take extra, what are they called? Extra towels along because, you know, we need them after we want to dry off after we showered when we're done. So we didn't bring any to traverse the inside to the outside. So I'm like, going like this, we also didn't bring flip-flops or anything. So our feet are freezing to the ground. It's like going over lava, but cold. My body is screaming for warmth and Tifa is laughing her ass off while shivering like she's dying as we make our way to the hot bath. I wanted to turn around. She didn't let me. She kept dragging me along. So we get to the hot bath outside, we get in, and it's nice. It's so relaxing. It's exactly how you would think when you see that scene in the anime, how the little cute monkeys feel like when they sit in the onsen outside with snowflakes falling on their cute little noses. It's exactly like that. It felt heavenly.
But at some point we had to get out again too, and it was snowing some more, it got a bit colder.
And then there was wind.
And there was a lot of wind. I kid you not, I stood still at some point. And my feet started freezing to the floor. I kid you not. It was already the effort to move my feet after standing still. And Jack was running. That hurt so much.
After that day,
it was so much fun.
I mean, I won't do it, but I would be the one person on Twitch that could remove their shirt and I would not get banned because you wouldn't see my nipples. Because they fell off in the cold!
It was so much fun. I still remember the run back into the building.
It must have been 30 seconds of walking, but it felt like an hour. And every step I cursed her with every word known to mankind. Don't try to do it in a Floridian November. How was that? To walk in the cold from a failed hot tub at my friend's apartments to his flat, it was horrible to feel. Yes, exactly.
It really is. I would like to go back to Budapest still, during spring. Because I think that would be really nice.
Yes.
But I have a lot of fun memories of Budapest in winter, especially when we climbed up the mountain.
That was cool.
And everything was fine. It was still cold, freezing, but it wasn't snowing or anything yet until we reached the top. Then it started snowing a lot.
And the ground froze over.
It completely froze over, and you couldn't really go down normally anymore.
You had
walking.
to slide.
So everyone who was at the top and was walking down was basically sitting on their ass or trying to hold something and slide down. It was so much fun. I have a lot of good memories of that trip.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
But let's not go in winter again.
Still have some videos, I think, of you sliding down. So in the end, we were all in one line.
Yeah, there were.
All kids, just wee.
Tiva's got her own tickets and now it's spring in Bucharest. Haven't been there either, so maybe. I wouldn't mind.
I would like to go back there at some point.
Also about Mount Redhorn. He likely means Mount Redhorn in Glacier National Park, Montana. Or the Redhorn Pass through the Misty Mountains, which leads through the mines of Moria.
Who wins it on 1 versus 1?
In cute mode of a ballroom. Reina.
I'm still going for Balrog.
Even Gandalf beat the Balrog. Come on. Reina, Gandalf the White, Gandalf the Grey, and the Balrog. She would just go, oh my god, it's so cute, and just grab it and leave, and because of the cuteness and the adorability, the Balrog would just subside and just be okay with it. And then just lay on its back and get belly scratches.
That would be cute. But yeah, the cold can be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of tough punishment games for the winter season. One time, she made us have a Rio Carnival in the schoolyard while snow was falling.
What's a Rio Carnival? Is that supposed to be a game or?
You've never seen Carnival in Brazil, in Rio?
Yes, with
you go with
just the pasties and these huge peacock-like things on your back.
So skimpily dressed outside in the snow.
Is that DLC?
Carnival.
Do we still get to see that? I see the tariff of our club cared not for the season. The victor would be decided by who could best adapt to the winter-only events.
Shame our club members got cut in half.
Shame I don't think Keiichi will ever get to see a winter in Hinamizawa.
It could even be literally. But that's it.
What?
I said shame our club members got cut in half.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it.
We do snowball fights and shaved ice eating contests and treasure hunts in the snow. Well, that seems like fun.
That does sound fun. Wait, why is everything outside? Why can't we play tabletop games in a nice warm room while it's snowing?
By the way, the yellow snow, that's lemon.
I was waiting for her to say it.
That's like the premium snow that you want to eat.
Also, if you had a butterfly PT, beware of a blue snow as well. Or does that turn green then?
That's a good question. I do not know.
Or does...
Probably not.
Okay, note to self. Editor, please... Editor's me. Please remind me to buy butterfly PT so I can do that scientific experiment. Because you would think yellow and blue makes green, right? Assuming that the blue goes there. I haven't tried peeing in my tea yet. No, you know how your body just cannot filter out certain things that you ingest? Maybe the blue in butterfly PT is like that. I'm sorry, but peeing blue would be kind of amazing.
I think you should see a doctor if you're peeing blue.
Yes, you should. But at the same time...
Whoa, Keiichi-kun. If you're saying things like that, then you're gonna lose a lot this winter. We'll have lots of punishment games and Rena won't lose.
Don't give me that... I settle things with a cross chop to the head.
You're sure having fun. Our walls aren't very thick, so be careful not to go flying through any, okay?
A paper sliding door opened and Mion returned with a pot and a complete tea set.
Do you want some sesame senbei to go with that? Sorry, we don't have much in the way of bean paste or other good stuff.
That's like little cookies with sesame, right? Oh, that could be so good.
That sounds tasty.
That's making me salivate. It's okay, we didn't really come here to drink tea anyway. Way to kill the mood. Oh, they're rice crackers. Okay.
Oh.
Blue once came out of me through the other end, but that was because of something I ate.
At least you know you ate something.
The worst is when something like this happens and you don't know why.
Oh, and it's like completely random.
Yes.
That would be scary.
It shouldn't look like that. What's happening?
I am curious though. Do you remember what you ate?
Oh yeah. If you feel like sharing, like you don't have to, of course. But Nathan's addiction to blueberry was a dark period. It's that cereal, right? I mean, I would imagine, like, just eat something of that color if your body can't, like, break it up during digestion.
There is... And now I'm thinking of flamingos, but there is actually a case somewhere in history, I don't remember, of people turning blue as well.
Because they drank cordial silver.
Yeah, they drank something and it made their skin color turn blue.
Yeah, I don't think that's good for you.
No, I doubt that's good for you, but still.
But yes, you can I believe it's permanent. You can change your skin color through various means, none of which, as far as my knowledge goes, are considered healthy. I'm just saying. If you want to change your skin color, maybe use tattoos or something, you know?
Might have been cake. I remember it was a birthday party. Probably with like a lot of food coloring.
Yeah.
I can imagine that can come out the same way.
Yeah.
Your stomach's inside were probably the color blue too.
I'm blue, I'm blue inside and out.
They still don't know how to undo colloidal silver poisoning.
They just make you slightly less. Avatar free. Wait for it. And with those words, the smile disappeared from Rena's face. Ah, she did it. That one careless statement reminded us of what we nearly had. That one careless statement reminded us of what we had nearly been able to forget. I had wanted to enjoy this peaceful time for a little longer, but we put an end to that with those honestly careless words. When she noticed the smile disappeared from Rena's expression, Mion too changed hers. It was as if a cheerful air that was like a warm spring day until a moment ago had slipped through the cracks in the paper door and altogether disappeared. There was no point in regretting it now. We did not come here today to chat and enjoy ourselves. I do. Damn, like actual Smurfs. You looked it up? Yes. It's kind of funny to see, but at the same time, like, maybe don't do that. I mean, I think there's a reason why it's called colloidal silver poisoning.
I mean, it's a really interesting case.
But I think it also fucks up your body. Besides changing your skin color, you know?
I don't remember reading what the
side effects are.
Health side effects are. I believe they still lived relatively fine, actually.
Just for you, Tifa. Symptoms: colloidal silver. Chronic ingestion or inhalation can cause agruria, which is a permanent bluish discoloration of the skin. Anemia, bone marrow suppression, liver function derangement, and neurological deficit. Don't do it just so that you can turn blue. Paint yourself, you know? Don't do colloidal silver. Mion silently poured the tea. During that time, both Ren and I sat kneeling without uttering a word.
Here you are. Drink up.
I couldn't even mutter a word of acknowledgement at those natural words of courtesy.
There's no poison in it or anything.
There is poison in it.
Do you distrust me that much?
Yes.
That's upsetting.
Mion gave a bitter smile at that and let her shoulders droop.
Also, that kind of means she knows exactly why we're here. Why else would you go like, oh, you don't trust me? You think there's poison in this? Yeah. Like, there's no reason to think that otherwise.
We all remained silent. We remained silent, hoping that someone else would speak up first. That was, however, one thing we didn't want to do, and so we sat for a long time. At last, Mion smiled scornfully and opened her mouth to speak.
Hey now, Kei-chan, Reina. You're the guests. Didn't you come here for something? If you don't speak up first, this old man won't know what to do.
Reina and I exchanged glances, and we both resigned ourselves. Reina opened her mouth to speak first, so I stopped her.
Keiichi-kun?
It's okay. I needed to come here. Let me talk first.
Okay, I understand. What would Kei-chan have to tell me? Please give me your daughter's hand in marriage, maybe?
Why would I want to marry Mion's daughter?
Can't do that. My little Reina and Kei-chan aren't meant for each other.
Oh, that's okay, yeah, fair enough.
Go wash your face with miso soup and try again later.
Wash your face with miso soup? Is that a thing?
Is that an expression?
It seems like a waste of soup.
Because she's an old man.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that she doesn't just say that like as a speech tick, but like she means that.
Like a guardian.
Afterwards, I thought her mean remarks were Mion's own way of showing consideration. Mion had said those mean things in a totally normal voice, and it drained the tension from my shoulders. Mion, first, I have something to apologize for.
You do? What for?
Mion pretended that she didn't know what I was talking about, but had clearly gotten my point across. Well, on the night of the Watanagashi, the ritual storehouse behind the shrine, I went in there. I could see Mion's expression immediately become harder. I knew it was somewhere I wasn't supposed to go, but it was just supposed to be a little bit of exploration. We didn't mean anything by it. Even so, I still shouldn't have done it. So I apologize. I'm sorry. To display my deepest sincerity, I pressed my forehead to the table. I'd meant it as my way of prostrating myself. I figured it wouldn't feel sincere enough if I raised my head right away, so I left it there on the table for a while. I fell asleep. That tea. Mion didn't say anything. My face down, I couldn't tell what sort of expression Mion had. Only the voices of the cicadas filled the room. Mixed with them, I could hear the sound of a clock ticking. Oh, prostrating yourself. There was an extra R in there. That was all. Prostrating yourself is very different. I mean, have you seen the Kink Dungeon? I'm just saying. Oh no, the Higurashi are crying.
I don't think they'll be the only ones crying in a moment.
You know, Nathan, I've been thinking, is there an actual meaning to the Higurashi crying? But they cry so much, if there's a pattern, if it's a clue, I'm not getting it. I honestly want to think, in a game called Higurashi, when the Higurashi cry, there has to be some significance to it, but maybe there isn't.
I think it's just we pay attention to it in these moments.
Yeah.
For now.
Which makes sense, but it's not because of Higurashi, it's because of the situation itself, I would argue. Like,
I mean, yeah.
The situation isn't happening because of the cicadas, it's just that you focus on the sound of the cicadas because...
You notice them.
The when they cry refers to animals making sounds in general. Like a dog barking, as my body is suppressing a hiccup. I never heard that phrase before like that. I always thought it's about actual tears, like until right now. Thank you for broadening my horizon.
So we're just taking extra attention to it because in the title.
Yeah.
We never go like, oh, the cicadas are laughing.
Maybe they will at the end. What's a cicada laughing sound like, Tifa?
It's laughing now. There's one in there that's laughing.
It's an asshole. all the Higurashi are crying except Bob. Bob really likes his schadenfreude.
Something got lost in translation, I guess. Yeah, that could also be... It might still make sense at some point.
Be closer to when the Higurashi cry. I mean, yeah, but like the I know that cry technically can be like to cry out, as in like to raise your voice and stuff, but it always, like 99% of the time, my head goes like, it's sadness, you know, it's tears. When I started to struggle to breathe from having my head down for so long, Mion told me to stop. When I started to struggle to breathe from having my head down for so long.
Well, he's also like bent forward, I'm guessing.
Oh, it's just like really like crunched up. Okay, fair enough.
You got me there. I didn't expect you to pitch it to me straight. You've got me on the ropes.
I looked up to see that Mion's face was calm, but she was smiling faintly.
If you understand that even though it was only a casual exploration for you, Kei-chan, that there are a lot of people who think it's no laughing matter, then it's okay. There's an old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
When we went to Rome a couple of years ago, we did exactly that when it came to crossing the street. Because traffic there isn't like traffic here, where they just wait for you. They keep driving, so you need to walk. I do not recommend walking in front of driving cars, of course, but try to copy what the people who look like they live there do, and just
it definitely worked in
follow
Rome.
it. And that's when we start getting around easier, yeah. But when they cry, it also implies that our characters are also crying.
Well, in the situations where we focus on it, it makes sense. At least, like, feeling-wise.
It's been days since then. It may be too late, but I apologize. What I did was wrong. Please forgive me. I could feel pitiful tears welling up within me.
I still feel like she's the wrong person to apologize for.
If I had done this sooner, maybe nothing terrible would have happened.
It's okay. If you know what you did was bad, then that's enough, right?
Mion spoke like it was someone else's problem and I wasn't happy about it.
Min-chan, Keiichi-kun is apologizing seriously. I think maybe you should respond seriously as well. I am being serious though. Do I not look serious to you, Reina? You don't.
Reina was giving her a tit for tat, and so the room's atmosphere quickly began to grow sharper. She was right. Even though I came here to speak from the heart like this, it felt like she hasn't been taking this seriously. Obviously, Reina isn't fond of that.
Keiichi-kun, you can get up now. Let's tell her everything. That looks like what Michan wants too.
Sure, let's have a conversation where we believe that you killed 3 people at least. That's gonna be
How do you
easy.
start that?
I think you killed 3 people.
I think if you actually believed I killed 3 people, you would not say it like that.
I hope to never be in a situation where I need to ponder that. I try to, surround myself with people that wouldn't do that. If that just, resonated with any of you, then sorry, I guess. Please don't. And I'm also sorry, Mion. Sorry you're so weak. Blocks my punch. I don't know where all of this is going, but I fully expect Keiichi to be dead in the end. Mion, where's Rika? Yeah. Or what actually happened to the mayor?
Yeah, maybe it's not. Well, I think for us in this situation,
where's your sister?
Rika and Satoko are a bit more important. So we can go like, hey, we know they came here. What happened to them after?
I had known it would turn out like this from the beginning. Hadn't I come here prepared for that? I mustered my willpower and bit my lip. Mion, you called Rika-chan and Satoko the day before last, right?
I don't remember doing so. If you have a reason to think so, could you just let me hear it? It was evening, before dinner time. Rika-chan should have come here, bringing a big bottle of soy sauce, to have you share some with her.
Mion was trying to keep from showing any reaction, but I didn't miss her eyelid twitching just a little bit.
Why do you think that? It's not hard to understand.
Unless you're stupid.
Like you. Michan, you saw it too, didn't you? Rika-chan's room.
Mion put a finger to her forehead and acted like she was thinking. Oh, she's played Ace Attorney too. She's doing the...
But I think it's more like...
Oh yeah, that's the temple, not the forehead. Fair enough.
There was chilled tofu, but no soy sauce. Plus, the big bottle of soy sauce that should have been under the sink was nowhere to be found.
That is also what Japanese Columbo does. One more thing. A very old man move. I wonder if we ever learn why she does the old man persona thing, because...
I feel like I wouldn't do it to my forehead, but I am more of a...
You're also more of a temple gal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, more of a chin. What? Is that why she would have come here?
Mion, drop the act. You wrote it yourself in the notice, didn't you? That you'd share your soy sauce? Mion scratched her head. I heard her ever so faintly click her tongue. It was as though we found out she'd purposely given too little change to a servant. That's all I could feel from her.
Then Michan, Rika-chan, you hit her.
Rina hesitated for a moment. I could tell that she didn't want to use the word erased and that she was struggling to find another word.
That was really supposed to be the end, wasn't it? For you, anyway. What are you talking about? You didn't foresee that Rika-chan would tell Satoko-chan that she was going to your house, did you, Michan? Then Satoko called. Might Rika be imposing on you? Yeah, probably just like that. You sound just like her. Michan, you were in a bit of a bind then, because someone knew that Rika-chan had come here. So you decided to lure Satoko-chan here too. See, collateral damage in the story.
I love, by the way, how Tifa has so much disdain for Satoko that 50% of the time she drops the honorifics when she reads the lines.
Sometimes, yeah.
But why only with her?
It's too long. Lure her out? Like how, I wonder?
Mion prodded Reina on as if trying to get to the good part of an interesting story. I, however, knew I'd been watching Mion change the whole time. She was restlessly twirling her fingers. She had clearly lost her calm. Of course, it was really a slight thing, and only I, who had been watching her this whole time, would have known. Mion was panicking. What Reina was saying must have been a bullseye.
Why do I think she also knows we came here dropped off by Ooishi?
Do you remember? I mean, yes, that's to be expected.
Do you remember?
Do you remember the phone call with her when we called her out? And she did
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this person anticipates everything, I would assume.
It probably went like this. Satoko, I actually made too much dinner today, so why not come over and eat? Rika-chan, by the way, she left it out herself. Rika-chan came earlier and already ate some. Something like that.
Tifa channeling her actual inner Mion.
Exactly. That's what I do sometimes too.
Scratch. Mion's nails dug into her knee.
There's no recordings of the phone conversations or anything, so how do you know that much? I know it because the dinner that Satoko-chan made for the two of them was plastic wrapped in their refrigerator and hadn't been touched.
So the trick, if you ever want to pull this off, is to then break into the house of the people you killed and eat their food.
Seems about right. Gotta be careful not to leave fingerprints then. Higher chance.
I mean, if you eat everything, just put on gloves afterwards, before.
True. And fingerprints weren't that big of a thing back then, I think, yet.
I think they have been for quite a while. Wait 1 sec.
When did
fingerprinting start? In Japan. Using fingerprints to identify individuals has become commonplace, and that identification rule is an invaluable tool worldwide. Used as proof of a person's identity in China perhaps as early as 300 before Christ, in Japan as early as 702 AD.
Yeah, but there were too many cases in the earlier days where criminals would get away because they couldn't do a proper fingerprint thing. Wait, I'm gonna look this up. When did they start?
Office of Justice Programs website. There you go, Tifa.
I don't believe
You've been busted. So trying really hard to find information to the contrary.
This is DNA. Mixing it up with DNA apparently.
Because we had that conversation earlier as well.
That didn't start until like
Not
1990.
Today, but a while ago. Jack, does busting make you feel good? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I preferably bust ghosts, but sometimes I also bust bubbles. For a few moments, Mion's face was frozen in utter amazement. She looked like she couldn't believe that this person in front of her was Reina.
With just that to go on? How did you even guess what we said over the phone?
She just confirmed it. Nice.
It's a long explanation, so I'll get to the point. The contents of that refrigerator provided a vivid account of what you said over the phone when you lured her out.
Mion's jaw remained on the floor. That was the only way I could describe her face.
That's... I had no idea. I had such an incredible detective right next to me the whole time. I can't believe you'd figure out everything, down to the phone conversation, just from what was inside the fridge.
Are we gonna get the face?
You've got me there. You've got me, you've got me.
As if a dam had burst, Mion convulsed into laughter. Her laughter, though, definitely didn't make us want to laugh as well. Mion grew tired of her dumb laughter, heaved a big sigh and scratched her head. She's tweaking right now. Yes, they should have bum rushed her from the beginning. Like, go in there, bonk her over the head, pull her out, get the police, done. Now interrogate her, please, this is your job.
I feel like we should have gone in with a Stanley knife.
Stanley is dead.
What?
Stan Lee, the Marvel guy, died a couple years ago.
I don't know who that is.
The old guy who's in every single Marvel movie that he was still around for and has a cameo.
I don't remember.
Stan the Man Lee. There's an epic rap battle with him too.
Oh, that I do remember.
Jim Henson versus Stan Lee.
Yeah, that one I do remember, but no, that's...
Tifa and I get all of our knowledge from YouTube videos. Tifa does a psychopathic laugh a bit too well. Plenty of experience. Classic culprit breakdown. It is a trope for a reason. It almost seemed like Mion had lost a detective punishment game for the club or something, and her punishment had been decided. Oh, how fun that would have been if that were true.
An incredible detective? Mi-chan, you're the one who guessed what Ooishi-san told us. He called me an incredible detective too. Oh, she's playing 5D chess.
As soon as she heard Ooishi-san's name, Mion's eye began to display panic more clearly so that anyone would be able to tell. Mion, the police have suspected you for a long time now. Ooishi-san's officers had the house under observation so that they could break in at any time. Mion attempted to feign calm, but it looked like she was having a hard time with that. And part of her couldn't believe that the police had her surrounded, and she closely examined Reina's facial expression. However, she couldn't detect a hint of falsehood.
I feel like it was a bit too early to spring that knowledge. We don't really have a confession yet.
Why go in for the kill when the opponent is stumbling?
Yeah, but the only thing we know now is that she called them and called them over. That's it.
Yeah, but we're not here to find the others, we're here so that she gives herself up.
Yeah, but this is not enough for anything.
Stan Lee, the creator of a bunch of popular Marvel characters. He cameos so much he even cameoed in one DC movie for a clever in-joke. Really? And which one was he?
It really doesn't
I don't recall that. Then again, I haven't really watched the DC movies because I didn't like them.
I don't even recall watching the majority of Marvel movies.
You have?
And I have seen them, but I don't recall watching them. It's also not really my thing.
Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Have not seen that. I had the displeasure of watching... what was it? Suicide Squad. Not the Suicide Squad, that one was okay, but Suicide Squad. Or Justice League. Or Batman v Superman. Finally, Mion seemed to accept the fact that the police were encircling the house.
Was the mayor Mi-chan too?
Were Tomitake-san and Takano-san you as well? Mion didn't answer our rapid-fire questions. I could clearly see impatience in her eyes, which were still feigning calm. At last, Mion, who had been sitting there lazily, readjusted her cushion and sat herself upright. At that moment, the atmosphere in the room changed completely. Mion's expression also changed. The impatience and wonderment in her expression disappeared, and she became so solemn you would think she was about to conduct a tea ceremony. I could sense it. It was now in this moment. Mion had ceased to be Mion, but had somehow changed into Mion Sonozaki, the current heir to the Sonozaki house. That solemn atmosphere about her was clearly abnormal and was entirely different from that of a Mion that I knew. Now I could believe it. Now I could believe that she was the young leader who commanded the entire Sonozaki clan. Mion quietly placed both her hands on the tatami mat and gave a beautiful, elegant bow as if this were really a tea ceremony, and named herself.
We meet for the first time. I am the current heir to the Sonozaki house. My name is Mion.
Mion's movements were so elegant they could cut, and we couldn't even answer her. All Reina and I could do was watch, baffled at her actions, which we could never imagine the normal her doing.
She's not Mion anymore. She's now Mion.
I want to say, because we're still busy rewatching Digimon Adventure, there's one episode where one of them tries to digivolve, but it fails. Mm. So you have the animation of like, Agumon digivolves to Agumon, and it just spins back, like it just slows down again until it stops, and it's like, why did that fail? And it feels like this. Mion has turned into Mion? Question mark?
I would like to welcome you to the Sonozaki main house today. I will greet you all in place of our leader, Oreo. It seems as though you have various things you would like to ask. If I can be of any assistance, then I would like to answer without concealing anything.
What? What did Mion just say? Mion said she would answer anything we asked. There was a strong light of resolve in her eyes. It's really alright if we ask anything then?
I shall tell you everything I know. That is why you have come here, after all.
Rena and I exchanged glances. There was a mountain of things we wanted to ask Mion. If the leader is named Oreo, he's just asking to be dunked on like a cookie. I hope you don't have to twist her on the sides and then open her up and then lick the white cream inside.
That probably already happened.
That's disgusting. Not when you do it with an Oreo cookie, but we're talking about the granny here.
It's kind of the plot.
However, we hesitated for a moment on what we should ask first. The first question Reina gave was extremely abstract, but it was the question everyone wanted to know right now.
Why would you do this?
That was what I wanted to ask as well. Why would you do this? It didn't only go for Rika-chan and Satoko. It went for the mayor, Takano-san and Tomitake-san as well. No, even further back, for all the incidents that had been occurring every year. For a little while, Mion couldn't respond. Right when I realized that the question was too vague and tried to put it into more concrete terms, she finally opened her mouth to speak.
Also, if you have a mic from the police and you're trying to hear out someone or make them confess something, ask your questions clearly too. Mm-hmm. Like, why did you kill X and X? Why did you kidnap this and this?
Yes.
If you go, why did you do this? And she goes, oh, because I wanted to.
You just play the pronoun game. Never say the names. Just try to avoid making it clear enough.
It's like, oh, I wanted to pour this tea. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To answer that question, it will take some time. If that is acceptable, however, then I would by all means like you to hear it.
She spoke clearly. She spoke with a clarity that a grandmother might use when telling a story from a long time ago.
Do you know that Hinamizawa village used to be called Onigafuchi village?
Rina nodded slightly and then shot me a glance, asking me if I did. I returned her nod. Hinamizawa was once called Onigafuchi village, yes. I heard all about it that night from Takano-san in the ritual storehouse. They firmly believed that demon blood ran through their veins and cut off all contact with the outside world. They were worshipped by those in the villages at the foot of the mountains, and treated like transcendents, those capable of magic.
That's right. Our ancestors in Onigafuchi village were proud descendant from the demons. Those in the villages at the foot of the mountains worshipped and honored them. Nevertheless, that all decayed with the end of the Tokugawa era.
Grandmother-like voice? Oh no, she is an old man. Is that the reason why?
That's gonna be the plot twist. She is her grandmother.
She is
who killed Mion and Shion.
It's Star Wars. Somehow Palpatine came back and he has...
The black ships arrived.
That's my line.
You think?
Yeah, because there's no name above it. Oh. The black ships arrived. The era of the samurai ended. The era of national isolation ended. And the tradition of worshipping Onigafuchi village quickly disappeared. Those things that linger from the past were all to be detested. That was the kind of era it became.
The Meiji era began, and the name of Onikafuchi village, with its long history, was forcibly changed to Hinamizawa village. I have heard the Meiji government strongly wished to erase the old customs.
The abolition of feudal domains and the establishment of prefectures, an era had begun seeing Japan sprinting up the stairs that were beyond their means to try and reach the same level of the rest of the world. All things in the Western style were to be extolled, while all traditional things were to be scorned. It was the sort of era it was.
Our ancestors in Onikafuchi village were proud descendants descended from the demons. Deja vu. Onikafuchi village disappeared in a flash.
The black ships where Admiral Perry opened the country and Japan began modernizing. Oh, so basically when the US and Japan made contact back then.
It's nice they put some actual history in there.
At last, Japan, provoked by the great European powers colonizing countries in Asia one by one, began a policy to increase its wealth and military power so that it could stand as a global power in its own right. Conscription began and they won war after war, the first Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War, and until the Pacific War broke out, they recklessly climbed the staircase towards modernization. Essentially speed-ran industrialization. Yeah, it must have been crazy to live in Japan at the time, because a few days ago we were walking around with our police samurai with swords, and like 10 years later there's guns, there's cars, you know.
That's kinda how it goes.
Usually not that fast.
In that regard, maybe not, but if you look at your own jumps, like from 90s to 2000s, there's some giant leaps. Like how you live now was not a thing when you were a kid too.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you think about it, it's kind of the same sort of transition. Different, but...
Also, you know, when people say like, oh, everything used to be better back then when I was a kid. Back when I was a kid, I couldn't just grab my phone and look up literally anything I want to know about human knowledge. Like, the internet...
Nostalgic, yeah.
The wisdom of the... not the wisdom, but the knowledge of the world at my fingertips. Amazing.
The more you think about it, the more those things make sense. Because back when you were a kid, or when you were a kid, you look at it and you have all your fond memories of playing outside a lot and doing certain things maybe.
Yeah, but I didn't play outside, I hated them.
Hey, the things you like to do as a kid, for example, you experience things in that moment during that time.
Yeah.
But if you look at the now, you cannot experience those things or those moments in that age you are now.
Yeah, true. Plus you always have a rose-tinted glasses. Like, when you think back to your happy memories, you don't remember that it rained that day. Yeah. Or that you had a fight with somebody in the morning. That's usually not how memories work. Internet smartphones were milestones that is rarely recognized. Yeah, and I don't know why, because the advent of the widely available smartphone and mobile internet that changed the world. I mean, from smaller things like I can now play more video games outside to just being able to be connected with basically any other person in the world simultaneously, whenever you want. Crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, but we basically went through it, but like you said, it's rarely recognized because it was a really smooth transition.
It was a Tuesday.
Like I remember Google Maps coming out.
Yeah, Google Earth back then. Remember when you could zoom out and you saw the globe and you could zoom in and you saw your street?
Yeah, and that was like, whoa. But if you think back, it was like, okay, Google Maps is now here, you know? Yeah. I don't have to print a map anymore.
Nowadays, it's like, how do I get there? Just Google Maps it.
Like when we used to go to France, we looked up these routes, directions. We didn't really have navigation yet.
Yeah.
But you could Google somewhere from, I want to go from this street to this street.
And it would tell you like a list of instructions. Like,
yeah, like several pages of go left after 450 meters. Step 6, go right at the roundabout. Step 7, go straight until you come onto this street. And it's like, okay, going through all of these things.
Don't have to use a MapQuest or TomTom Go anymore.
That was also a thing then. But those were all very big moments, technically, that we just don't perceive as big. Because you're kind of living through it and you just...
I mean, we've lived them, like, what else do you want me to do about it? Like, I've been there, I bought the smartphone. Like,
but that's why these things in the past also seem bigger, because you read it and you go like, oh, they had this, and suddenly it's this.
Yeah. The AI breakthrough is a matter of time. I'm willing to hazard the guess that it's going to be a morphogenetic split in the universe, and one where it's going to be computers and the utopia and everything is nice and good. And the other is the Metroid lore way, where we're gonna put AI chips into big brains and then everything goes wrong.
I also feel like we already had the AI breakthrough though. Like OpenAI and everything, that was a breakthrough. That was such a leap in what there was. That is where it started. You will be able, in 20 years, you'll be able to pinpoint it back to those moments.
It depends on where it goes from here. If it spreads like wildfire, it gets everywhere and it actually is helpful, yes. Then the moment ChatGPT got announced will be like the first time somebody saw the Steam machine.
But it actually is. Do you know how many companies use their software for their own systems?
Yeah, but if it dies off in a year or two because of legal reasons or operating costs, then it was a flash in the pan and just a fad. The question is, does it last?
That doesn't matter if it lasts. It was a breakthrough.
Yeah, but the important part is, does it last? Because the industrialization era is so important because it still has impacts to today. When globalization started, it still has impact today. If something just shows up and it's like 2 years of interesting news in a history book at some point, it's like, meh.
Yeah, but AI will not disappear. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
A lot of breakthroughs in front of it. Look at how clunky robots are currently. Yeah, I mean, not even necessarily clunky. If you look at the stuff that DARPA, the US Army, basically, the like research arm, my hair's doing stuff, is doing. The movement of humanoid robots is getting closer and closer to actually looking humanoid. I mean, we might see robots like Mega Man actually walking around in my lifetime. I'm kind of excited for that. I would not mind
That's not unrealistic.
A helper robot, but we would have to call them rock or roll depending on what model we get. And that's the names of Mega Man and Sister Robot. Talk when you give 10 robots the task to build a house on their own. That's gonna be crazy. My question is, will it actually get to humanoid robots replace human workers like that? Because I think that's what everybody has in their mind, including me. Or is it gonna be, especially with housing and stuff, is it be like I just order a house online and then this huge drone, like not drone size, but like blimp size, a few days later just hovers into sight and just lets down a house that has been prefabbed somewhere else, and they just quickly pour the concrete, it dries, and then house. And then maybe 5-6 drones and humanoid robots show up, go like door, window, done.
I'm not even sure if that's going to be something replaced by robots actually, because currently 3D printing houses is really making a rise, which is made from material harder than concrete. So I think 3D printing is going to be the future of house building instead of robots. But still some sort of AI behind it, I guess.
Dark Lord, watch out. I got the proto version blues. I think there's something wrong with the engine on that one. It might go critical, if I remember my Mega Man lore. And then people will go on strike when human workers get their jobs taken away. That's the thing I'm wondering about every single day with all of these like advancements and the more and more widespread use of AI that Tifa is talking about. Will we as humanity all together come together and go, no. As long as we have systems in place where everybody needs money to live, we cannot let that happen. Will the unions win that fight? Or will they not? And if they don't, and robots of some kind replace every manual labor, will we at least still get to the Star Trek utopia of when we didn't need to do the manual labor, we realized we're all just people and peace happened and capitalism died and everybody just did what they wanted. If you want to paint a painting, you do that. If you want to make music, you do that because every manual labor, all the heavy lifting is being done for you. I want to live in that world.
That would be kind of nice.
Imagine.
I have a hard time imagining that type of future. I have a feeling we're not going to experience that yet.
I would love it.
There probably will be a point where something like that will be a thing.
I hope for humanity that a Star Trek-like future is going to happen, where they just realize, yeah, you know what? Just live your life. If you want to explore the stars, go in a spaceship and do that. If you want to be a farmer, just be a farmer. You don't have to be if you don't want to. You can just let robots do it. But
well, you'll never fully be able to get rid of robots. I'm not going to say never, but in a foreseeable future, you're not fully going to be able to get rid of robots.
That's what I'm saying.
Or humans.
The utopian future.
Yeah.
But what will power-hungry elites do if their slaves don't need to work anymore? Hopefully, I know that's a stretch. I know, but I have hope. I have to have hope. Hopefully, humanity will evolve in their mindsets to go, no, we shouldn't be doing that. We should not exploit others for personal gain. Because if you were to get to the point, that's why I said utopia.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
If you were able to get to the point where exploiting others is not necessary, I think it should become a crime. Even more than it currently is. Bless your heart, Jack. I know it's unrealistic, but that's my hope. Call me a romantic if you want. That's because I'm adorable.
So precious.
I know another SAG-AFTRA strike is going on again due to some game companies like Activision EA wanting to use AI. Correct, and I hope that the unions bust their balls so hard they never try this shit again.
But these are like beginning stages. At some point AI is going to win. I'm 100% convinced of that.
Not if we don't let it. Sorry, not AI is going to win.
Yeah, that sounds a bit like
terminal
versus...
capitalism is going to win, and I hope that doesn't come to pass.
Well, yeah, of course.
I love, by the way, one last thing and then we should get back to the game. My favorite headline of the last year or two was, I work in a field where AI is important. And for good reason, and it makes sense. Don't worry, I'm not gonna hate on that. Can't stop progress. But thankfully not in like my area of work, but every big wig on LinkedIn that treats it like their personal blog always goes like, oh, I just came across this super important article about how AI revolutionized this and when they cut jobs and they saved so much money. Oh my god, I jizzed my pants. Every single time. And there was this wonderful article that I saw. If AI is so good at decision making that companies are using them, why don't we get rid of the most expensive part of decision making and use AI to get rid of CEOs? Nobody ever talked about that one.
Yeah, because the CEO needs to make the end decision.
No.
That obviously we're not capable of making.
Speaking of AI, a bot just made an attempt in chat. Yes, it did. Getting more again. Slightly annoying.
I don't know if you guys still saw the username, but the bot actually had a pretty cool one. Not so petrified scroll.
That's a wonderful username wasted on a bot.
Yeah. I thought the same, like, out of all the usernames that could be picked by a bot,
yeah,
that one is such a shame. At least throw some numbers in it, you know, so that the actual name isn't gone.
Let somebody with actual worth to humanity use a good name like this. Anyway, less AI and more hini-mini-mi.
At the time, Onigashima Village had already lost its impenetrability. I even heard the word in my mind.
You're doing that one again.
At the time, Onigashima Village had already lost its impenetrability. Oh my god, what is this? Impenetrability. Impenetrability.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say the word impenetrability, but when I read it, I suddenly can't say it anymore.
And now, last one. You can do it.
At the time, Onikafuchi village had already lost its impenetrability. Fucking hell.
Perfect.
It's more than 5 letters. The villagers, once worshipped as transcendents, were now in the receiving end of inhuman treatment.
It's transcendent.
Yeah, I don't care.
Transcendent? I don't care.
Just let me speak my lines, you're making it worse. The sacred Onikafuchi village had been groundlessly labeled an isolated village of those afflicted with incurable diseases, a mere shadow of its former self, and stood on the precipice of an era of hardship.
Also, give me that thing because you're making sounds and it's annoying me.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
You're annoying me and I'm not throwing you out of the room either.
I'm not throwing you out of the room, but give me that thing, please.
No, you're getting rid of
Give me the hairband.
No, that's my hairband.
It's my hairband, actually.
It actually is, but still.
Yeah.
No.
Are you lying on the internet?
Well, I said it's your hairband.
Yeah, after I called you on it.
But it's kind of mine now because you don't use it anymore.
Give it to me.
No.
Tifa is finding her transcending a precipice here. Maybe you want to precipitate that. Thief. Thus began harsh days where one would suffer unreasonable discrimination just because people knew one was from Onikafuchi. Children in a village at the foot of a mountain were taught not to go near Hinamizawa because filthy germs were rampant there. Children who had come into contact with children in Hinamizawa would cry and wail as their parents purified the spot where they touched by rubbing salt on it.
I saw the germs as Germans first, and I absolutely would have read it as that. These Germans running rampant.
There, I've touched you. Now purify yourself. Is this what it feels like to be discriminated against? No, it doesn't. One of the adults said to the children that if you get lost in Hinamizawa, you would be kidnapped by demons, cut up into pieces and devoured. Never ever go near the terrifying village of a man-eating demons. That's what he taught them. Another said that during a famine long ago, the people of Hinamizawa gathered up all the corpses they discarded into the dry riverbeds, then cooked and ate them in order to survive. Groundless stories, but said in such seriousness. Baseless slander added to baseless slander, making Onikafuchi Village's historically accurate, thrilling story all the more believable. Perhaps the chain of undue discrimination was a manifestation of a people's anxiety towards the uncertain times. Of course, the story didn't end only with a perspective of children. If anyone found out you were from Onikafuchi, you would be turned down from any job you applied to. Lurk, and excellent for me to catch a VOD and do some D&D. See you all on Tuesday.
Have fun, Dark Lord. Thank you for hanging.
People would even go back on engagements and marriage proposals. As for the marriages where one partner had lied about it, as soon as the truth got out, they were made to divorce.
It even caused trials. They would appeal that where once came.
Oh. Take a sip, take a deep breath. You got this.
It even caused trials. They would appeal that where one came from wasn't an important enough reason to divorce.
I'm not from Onikafuchi. I'm from Fuji, Onika. Yeah, that sounds funny.
What was it? Onika... Fuck you.
Onika, fuck yourself.
I forgot what I said once. They would, however, lose their case. Lying about one's birthplace apparently constitutes a heavy act of misrepresentation in marriage. That's terrible.
I've heard about such discrimination towards those small villages in civics class. Just because others knew you were from a tiny hamlet, you would be subjected to every societal disadvantage there was. A modern form of bullying. Boy, I only memorized that because I was going to be on a test one time. I recall being suspicious about and unable to believe such discrimination occurred in modern Japan.
Well, I suppose I can't say they weren't asking for it. Our ancestors were proud of the demon blood flowing through them. They lived their lives boasting about it and scorning those at the foot of the mountain after all.
So, who has been dicks to each other first?
They struck fear into the villagers down there with their mystique and demanded gifts of dread and tribute. I mean, they were kind of seen as gods. And that starts going to your head.
So, the people that live on the mountain want to be treated like gods and treat the surrounding villagers like shit. And at some point, the surrounding villagers go, no, those are demons, don't go near. They're bullying us. You ate them. You killed and ate them. What?
Matter of perspective.
With that, Mion smiled for the first time, albeit in self-mockery.
During the Pacific War, despite the slogans that all country was acting as one, those from Hinamizawa continued to suffer all manner of discrimination. There were too many ways to count. They would send their husbands and sons to war, and the woman on the home front would suffer greatly too. My grandmother remembers it well. She remembers it being a difficult time.
Even that bitterly long war, however, finally ended in 1945.
Hinamizawa had lost many male hands, but at last their fathers and husbands and sons returned to them. Of course, there were also many who didn't come back.
You know, lots of horrible things have happened during wars, and that's not an excuse. But wasn't there a thing earlier that the Hinamizawan traditions go back like 5,000 times? If a group of people have killed and eaten their neighbors for 5,000 years. 5,000 years!
That's a lot of neighbors.
I don't want to victim shame, but if the Hinamizawans now go, oh, we're the victims here, we're being bullied. 5,000 years worth of your ancestry was asking for it. You know? Like, it's shit on shit. Like, it doesn't get better from here, but still. Historical gaslighting, yeah, very much so. I demand respect from you for no reason. Swear fealty or else. Sounds like a Hinamizawa thing to do. MacArthur's GHQ set to work on drastically improving mindsets and strove for the abolition of unfair discrimination. I could feel day breaking on the dismal night that was the previous era.
Hinamizawa was on the verge of turning into a ghost town. Those in the village started to say that they should rebuild it once again and got to work trying to make the village even a little more plentiful.
During that time, someone appeared who built up a fortune through vast number of dealings in the black market. That was Mion's grandfather, the husband of the elderly current family leader, Sohei Sonozaki. It's funny to me that somebody who made their fortune and climbed the social ladder has a name that's pronounced so high.
It works in this case. Sohei said that he managed food warehouses in Harbin after being dispatched to the Chinese mainland. When it was time to pull out, he conspired with his superiors and comrades and stole a great deal of the army's canned goods. Keiichi's parents really chose to move here, yeah?
I still think there's more to it than that.
They're somehow part of it. I just don't know how they fit in yet.
Like, Maebara is just a weird pronunciation for we're actually the children of oyashiro-sama?
That I don't believe, but if their roots are here, probably.
Something like that.
He hid them somewhere in the Seto Inland Sea and sold them widely at a high price on the black market, thus earning a fortune.
So your grandfather already was a piece of shit too. I mean, desperate times make people do desperate things. But stealing food during famine post-war and then selling it for even more money, like, that's pretty scummy. You know, if you do it just enough so that you yourself can survive, I could kind of understand that because, you know, you gotta live too. But you keep doing it and you build a fortune with that, like, not good. So I didn't spend that fortune for his own pleasure either. He entrusted the entire amount to his wife, the head of the Sonozaki house.
Let's revive this ruined village. All who live here are our family, and thus fortune is our collective property. So he proclaimed to my grandmother, the current head of the family. That vast fortune was a huge reason why Hinamizawa was revitalized after the war. Revitalized.
Yeah. I see. With that, Hinamizawa came back to life, and that's how the Sonozaki family had established its current prosperity.
Of course, there were many people who begrudged the money coming from the black market, but the villagers no longer minded it.
They succeeded at one business venture after another. Those who had succeeded freely supported those who followed them. The giant family of Hinamizawa, tied together with strong bonds, kept on expanding its influence. The Sonozaki family, the center of everything, would be extolled for a long time as the minds behind Hinamizawa's revitalization.
The person at the middle of all of it was your Nana, Micho? That's amazing. What a great success.
It's success built on exploiting starving people.
Well, in the end, they gained from it.
Am I the only one that sees the problem here?
But in the end, they all gained from it.
It's like getting a band of trucks together, then driving through a city, kidnapping all the homeless people, and forcing them to build a pyramid, and then go, here, I build a pyramid. Look, it's my pyramid.
Just another day at the office, basically. Gotta respect the grind. That I gotta agree with.
Does this take skills? Yes. Should they have been used for something on net more positive? I would say so.
Also, every big company, I want to say, is founded on some backs.
Oh, you mean like the vast majority of German companies that have existed before 1945?
For example?
In their websites, when you go to the history, usually there's like, and then they did this until 1933. From 1945 onwards, they did that. It's like, aren't you missing a part there? Maybe something important happened in those 12 years? Why do you not want to talk about that?
Yeah, but it's capitalism. You cannot make it to a certain skill without stepping on some people. I'm 100%.
I will be the first one. I will lead by shining example. Just like, hello Skinner, happy Sunday, how are you doing?
Show me your billion in 10 years and then we'll talk.
I can show my billions right now. Because Tifa, you are all the treasure and no amount of money can be used to describe your worth to me.
That's very sweet.
You still want to see the billion, don't you?
Yeah. Capitalism. Oh.
It was war, better than me. Yeah, but I would like to think that at some point people go like, I have more money than I can spend in my life. Maybe I should give some back. You know, maybe even to the people that I exploited. But
even if you look at before
Jeff
the
Bezos.
war, exactly, like look at Amazon and the amount of companies that had to go to make room for Amazon, basically.
Yeah. Welcome to Hinamizawa. We're all going to hell. Some earlier than others.
We definitely are.
Mion looked like she was honestly happy Reina had praised her.
I think it's a big achievement. However, around 1955, the wind started blowing in the other direction again. Because of the canned flesh incident.
Here we go. That's been mentioned once by Takano-san before she died.
And we didn't go into it.
Calling it now, in their infinite wisdom, the Sonozakis decided to stretch the meat in the cans with human meat.
I mean, might as well.
It's cannibalism. Canned flesh. It sounded so hideous that just hearing it made me nauseous.
Someone naming himself as my grandfather, Sohei Sonozaki's superior, confessed that those canned goods had been human flesh.
Hinamizawa, a village in which demons lived and ate humans. They were just about to wipe away that cursed stigma. The light they had finally started to see in their peaceful lives grew hazy and disappeared. The shocking truth, as revealed by his former superior, the stolen provisions from the old Japanese army that had been a huge cornerstone for Hinamizawa's revival, had been canned human flesh. Why were they cans like that? Wasn't Sohei just the manager of food warehouses? His superior revealed that Sohei Sonozaki did not have a job of managing the food.
In reality, Sohei's job during the war had been to exterminate pestilent mice and to transport the corpses of those with infectious diseases.
It had been unfair treatment, and all because of the lowliness of his origins. As a result, though, he had returned safely without having been sent to the front lines or being detained. Perhaps that was the only fortunate thing to happen to him. Finally, Sohei was enlisted as an assistant at a military medical institution. There, however, they found something even worse than the low, scorned, depressing customs of Onigafuchi village and the research they were carrying out.
Why hasn't Mion been filleted yet? Well,
we're getting there.
We are slowly getting there.
Finally, we're about to be respected again. Canned flesh. So much for that hope.
That'd be a shame to let it go to waste.
I'm pretty sure that during wars people have eaten other humans and just never talked about it.
Well, of course. Do I need to remind you?
You know, what are you gonna do? Am I gonna sit here and starve, or am I gonna eat that guy?
Selling humans to the sugar factory?
Yeah, in times of desperation, people do the wildest things to survive.
Wouldn't you?
Did you all have Grease 2 nightmares last night? We didn't just have nightmares, we spent the entire beginning of the stream yelling about that movie. Could that have been, well, you know, the bacteriological core in the old Japanese army or whatever? The what now? Where is that suddenly come from? That's not even been, hinted at.
Keiichi-kun, you've heard of that? What could it be?
I was pretty sure it was Unit 731.
Hey.
At least give us a tip about this.
We're gonna hear that now. Here's your tip coming. Keiichi does have some knowledge, you know. Cleanse my palate with The Greatest Showman. I'm pretty sure you rewatched Grease 2.
This is the tip.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting it explained now. I don't know what else you want.
It was a nightmare unit that devoted itself to researching terrifying bacteriological weapons to break the deadlock in the war. They used many innocent people as fodder for horrible human experiments. They methodically observed how many days a new strain would take to kill the victims, how many days it would be when injected, how many days it would be when swallowed. They dissected many people to find that out. Sometimes they wouldn't bother waiting until they were dead and dissected them while they were still alive. They would strap them into centrifuges whilst alive and crush them in decompression chambers while still alive. When a live human decompresses, all the holes in their body get pushed outwards, and their intestines get pushed out of their anus like a snake winding out of it. It's not a line I ever expected to read.
Oh, I never thought about how that actually goes.
I have a feeling I saw something like that on a documentary one time. You saw that? What? What?
It's history. It would have been a bit odd if they went into these details during school. For a, 12-year-old? No, he's not that old. How old was he again?
Who'd approve that for a documentary? Yeah, who cleared that footage? Like having that as a voiceover explaining it? Yes. Footage? No.
He did not say he actually saw that. He saw the documentary.
I have a feeling I saw something like that on a documentary one time.
Yeah,
That's
but you
how
can
I take
talk
that.
about it and then go like, oh, I saw this in a documentary, but that doesn't mean you saw all the gory details.
Nah, I think Keiichi is a sick, broken puppy at this point.
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, that's history, yeah.
I think that would absolutely be approved for a documentary.
And spoilers, we know for a fact that Germany did the same things. That makes me sick. And they still hate Hinamizawa, huh?
You said it.
Mion agreed with me, giving a faint, sad smile. It wasn't much in the way of communication, but for some reason I was happy to have it right now.
The unit Sohei was in did way kinder research than that. They were researching concrete methods for reducing the difficulty of delivering food on the battlefield.
The military's designs at the start of the war completely fell apart and a chronic food shortage broke out all over the battlefront. The food shortage led to malnutrition, and as their natural resistance was lowered, the soldiers fell to one disease after another. Spirit and morale lowered as well. They wouldn't be able to maintain their forces at this rate. Apparently that's where the research started. At first it was to find methods of delivering food to battlefields. It was very broad and included things from violent methods like stealing it from citizens to survival methods like how to cook unfamiliar insects and plant life. As they were working out the details, they kept straying off course and going out of control, until finally they knocked down a door called Taboo.
What do you think is the easiest source of protein on the battlefield?
Reina and I knew the answer without being told, so we didn't answer.
That's right. They were researching ways to handle using humans as food. Fighting onwards, sometimes eating the flesh of enemies and sometimes that of allies became the ultimate service paid to their country.
Squirrel! Oh, they were saying humans.
Unpetrified squirrels.
Yeah.
They were deathly serious about this doctrine. It really is a riot. My grandfather was despised as someone who ate human flesh, and yet they had gone above and beyond that. Apparently he always thought about it too. Even if he was a vulgar, man-eating demon, they were far more ugly demons than he. So no matter how much he was scorned, he wouldn't put up with it. So basically he just enjoyed doing it, found a way to let others do it so that he wouldn't be alone.
I like the whole idea of this conversation so far being like, well, my family did horrible shit, but the others are also bastards. Yeah, so they all suck. That doesn't somehow... Just because you're not as bad as the people around you in the situation doesn't make you the good guy. It just makes you slightly less shitty than them.
We're trying to find out who sucks the least.
At last, they had a handful of test prototypes. When the soldiers learned it was human flesh, however, the scientists couldn't make anyone eat it. So it was apparently sent to the front lines. The cans were labeled meat substitutes, and so that they wouldn't accidentally eat it themselves, they stamped the bottoms with a circle.
The starved soldiers on the front lines apparently loved all the prototypes they were sent. Among them, those who cooked it in soy sauce like it was sukiyaki loved it the most. Come on, Michan, stop. I'm getting sick to my stomach.
Rena really was pale-faced and she looked like she was having difficulty continuing to sit on her knees. Mion looked like she had more to say, but she sighed lightly and stopped there. Then, those canned goods your grandpa brought back.
I don't know if it's true. Sohei denied it was human flesh up until the day he died. However, those who begrudged Hinamizawa's sudden revival called him a savage for making a fortune from selling human flesh, and the villagers began to be scorned again. They returned to a time where children would be jeered at and have rocks thrown at them.
The stifling silence came back. What a seriously hopeless and sad story it was. They discriminated, were discriminated against, discriminated and were discriminated against. Why must they attach worth and rank to it? Why can't they live without looking down on people? Why can't everyone enjoy life together? I didn't know. At least Keiichi realizes that everybody freaking sucks here.
Who's the lesser of a town of evils? Yeah, that's kinda what it feels like you're trying to figure out then. Like it's justified what you're doing. My grandmother, the family head, once told the children of the village this.
If I throw a stone at one of you, then 2 of you must throw stones back. The children asked her, What if they threw stones at 2 of us? Of course, the answer was simple.
If they throw stones at 2 of you, throw them back with 4. If they chase 8 of you with sticks, drive them off with 16. If they slander 30 of you, yell back with 60.
Finally, the children asked, What if we're attacked by 1,000 people? Even that answer was simple.
If 1,000 people attack you, then everyone in Hinamizawa will stand up against them. It was a manifesto to spur people into action. My grandmother rose up not only as the leader of the Sonozaki House, but as the mother of Hinamizawa.
It was halfway through 1955. It was a time when riots over the treaty with the US were rampant, a time of battle and action. The people of Hinamizawa joined together and fought, treating unfair discrimination towards one as a crime against them all. It didn't matter whether that one was a child or an adult. If they heard that a child had been told off, then everyone would crowd the house of a perpetrator acting as a whole. If they heard an adult had been treated unfairly, men and women, young and old, would all band together and stand up against it. If you meddled with people from Hinamizawa, you would be in trouble. They probably figured that if they could make others think that, they'd win.
In a way, that's kinda sweet.
Yeah, except for where all of this came from.
Yeah, but the idea itself.
The idea of community and unity and standing up for each other, yes, wonderful. If only this particular rose wouldn't grow out of the turd of a pre-eaten corpse.
Kei-chan, do you remember how many people came to help you when you got involved with those delinquents in town?
9. Has to be 9, right? Oh no, 6. I can't do math.
There were
3 delinquents. So
yeah.
it has to be at least 6 people. I recalled how much of an impression it had left on me. That the people of Hinamizawa boldly came to my rescue, yet the people of Okonomiya averted their eyes so they wouldn't get involved.
My grandmother fought, and my parents carried on the fight. At last, peace returned to Hinamizawa. Of course, that peace had been placed on a razor's edge. When you consider the previous 100 years of history, the tranquility now can only be called a chance interval, standing on uneven skills.
Why? Could I really have an opinion on such a long and difficult history when I hadn't moved here more than a year ago?
Yes.
Yet, I said it anyway. Why can't everyone just live in peace? What happened to those old stories of oyashiro-sama that I heard from Takano-san? Man and demon joined hands and lived together in harmony. Didn't oyashiro-sama remain in this world to watch over that?
It's a fairy tale. I mean, that even if those people and the demons were real, the oyashiro-sama who mediated between them wasn't. Is that why oyashiro-sama's curse happens?
A cool gust of wind blows in from outside, fluttering Mion's long, beautifully clear hair. Mion kept her refreshing smile without answering and didn't even change her expression, but even that became a silent answer.
So that Hinamizawa village might once more be like Onikafuchi village. So that we may again be a sacred existence worthy of worship. That was the earnest wish of our ancestors in Onikafuchi. And the mission of those who inherit the demon in the Sonozaki main family.
Those who inherit the demon?
For generations, the Sonozaki family has had a custom of including the character for demon in the leaders' names. If you write out my name on your hand, it should appear plain as day.
I trace out the word Mion on the palm of my hand. Oh, she's right. The character for demon is in there.
Not only in my name either. The demon is engraved on my body as well.
We want to look down on other people again. Yes, it keeps like hitting the same roadblock in my head. Is this idea of working together, unity, community, is that great and amazing? Like a big, huge family that all is there for each other, supports each other. Yes, but you want to do it to be better than other people for no... You just want to feel like you're better than other people.
The end goal is a bit sad, but the road is nice.
You're trying to make people do a good thing, defending each other, because for 5,000 years people before you kidnapped and killed and ate other people, so that you can now treat other people like shit again and potentially kidnap, kill and eat other people again.
Yeah, they should know their place.
When she said that, she quietly rose and began to lay her hand on her clothing.
It's okay, Michan. You don't need to show us, okay? Thank you.
With just that exchange, I guessed what she meant.
I told you she has it.
Most likely, somewhere on her body there was a permanent seal, such as a tattoo or marking that proved that she inherited the demon. Well, being in a higher social rank usually comes along with respect. No one fucks with you equals better chance of survival, having a better life. Better them than us. I mean, yeah, but...
It's a big power trip. Wanting to get the old glory back. Believing you should be on the top of the food chain.
I want to believe that there is a way... That's my hope as a human being. I hope that there has to be a way where you get to have that better chance of survival and a better life that you want for yourself without needing to kidnap, kill and eat other people. Like, or exploiting them if you want a modern capitalist version of that. It's not quite the same, but it goes the same way. I don't care about what happens to other people as long as I get mine. It's disgusting. It's a bit of a primal instinct more than anything. Yeah, but... How should I say this? If a pack of wolves does that, that's nature. But I want to argue that the wolves don't know better. I feel like because we as humans are capable of having rational thoughts, having debates, conversations, share opinions and thoughts and facts, we should hold ourselves to a higher standard than our instincts.
It's still a big part of people.
Yeah, I get it. It's there, and that's part of your nature as a human being. You too are a creature on Earth. I get that. I fully get that. But I believe that having an intellect puts the weight of actually having to use it on you.
But they do. Just not the way you want to, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that's where I disagree.
But they do.
Little Hinamizawa would be like, the moment they get internet, are they gonna invent fortune?
I sure hope not.
I am pretty sure we're all very adept at shitposting there. Mion didn't sit back down. She smoothly opened the paper door onto the porch.
We also need to find a point somewhere here to save.
A refreshing breeze began to cleanse the damp air filling the room. Mion quietly gazed out at the wide yard for quite a while. On her shoulders was something I could never imagine the normal Mion carrying. It was the heavy, truly heavy history of Hinamizawa, no, of Onigafuchi weighing down on them. What kind of words could I possibly say to a Mion like that? Reina wasn't saying anything to her either. Only the voices of the cicadas drowned out the silence. That's a good moment to end it for tonight.
Okay, so now please tell us why Rika and Satoko had to die for this.
Yeah, one second.
And did you eat them?
On her shoulders she was carrying the oh so heavy history of us. Just because the place you live in or your family and stuff has history doesn't mean that has to define your life. Will other people make that harder for you? Yeah, maybe. But I want to believe that every cycle can be broken.
I 100% agree, but saying that as an outsider is easy.
Yes, I understand that.
If you were raised in her situation, you would be eating half the village by now.
Listen, not quite the same gravity of kidnapping other people. But in my family, I've been socialized that making fun of any other person is a perfectly acceptable way of making yourself feel better. That's what I was raised with. For as long as I can think. That was part of everybody's daily routine. And it took me until I met you that you slowly whittled away at all the bullshit that I grew up with, that I took as normal, and realized, hey, all of these other people that I see every day outside there, they are also people. And the same way that shit has happened to me in my life, the same, or maybe different, maybe even worse shit has happened to all of their lives. So nobody owes me anything. If anything, we should all treat each other with respect. Don't assume we know everything about another person just at a glance. And maybe just, be fucking people. Be humans. Live and let live.
But then you basically can't really say anything about Mion, who didn't have someone to chip that away, as you said.
Yes, I have to cling to that though.
I get it, but she hasn't even been to that point yet.
Because how long?
She's basically growing up in a cult. This village is a cult, if anything.
Yes,
a secluded cult.
Okay, let's not talk about Mion. Let's go to Keiichi's perspective then with the whole, oh no, she's carrying the whole history of Hinamizawa on her back. The history of Hinamizawa is to kidnap, kill and eat people and probably do worse to them for thousands of years.
I'm quite sure he's referring to the fact that yes, that is the history, but she is now carrying the fact that she has to return it to its old glory.
I hope so. I really hope that when we continue this next week, the lines will make it abundantly clear that if anything, Keiichi has sympathy for what Mion is potentially going through. To understand the impossible situation she is in because she was raised in a cult effectively. She is being put into this situation, not chose to be like this, but it's still not good.
I mean, it's perfectly fine / normal to feel bad for a bad guy.
Better when COVID hits Hinamizawa will go out of her way to give it to others.
It's like a blessing.
I see this going one of two ways. Either if COVID first hits Hinamizawa, then they will go, it's actually a blessing from Oyashiro-sama, so they go spread it on purpose. Or if they don't get it, they will treat everybody else that had the misfortune of catching it like shit. Because,
I'm pretty sure we had people like that already. Without a cult.
One of the wildest things to me was the selfishness during COVID. Like, people catch COVID, they get told, you have COVID, don't just quarantine yourself, and then people start traveling. Like, I honestly started to wonder at the beginning of a pandemic, is there something in this virus that makes people want to travel? Because that's the thing with some things,
It's more the like I already booked, I'm not gonna cancel. Yeah, I can't cancel because I already paid $5,000 on this vacation.
I spent a lot of money on this, yeah.
But that's something else.
I guess.
Keiichi somehow isn't letting this all hit him. I think in a way, it's also really hard to take that in.
Also, it's insanely easy to be the reader of the story.
It's always easier from the outside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when you're watching a soccer game or something like that, and you see all the openings, and you go, "Oh my god, what are these millionaire idiots doing there? Why?" Because they don't see it from there, because they're on the field, or maybe they just really suck for their money. But that's not the point.
It's nicer to like shit talk situation, as we do that a lot. Obviously, when we have an opinion and something about everything. But would we do better in the situation?
As a 15-year-old?
As a 15-year-old? Probably not.
Probably not.
I would be long dead already.
I would have gone in there, I would have started to cry, and then I would have dropped my spaghetti. Straight out of both of my pockets. And then I would have cried, probably shat myself, get a panic attack, run away, try to. Then I get eaten, because, you know, weak victim and prey.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, no, fair point. If I was in this situation where my life gets turned upside down suddenly, my best friend is somehow a serial killer because she was raised like this.
But that's less fun, so we'll judge him for all his moves.
Yes, why doesn't this fictional 15-year-old just know everything I know when I'm over twice his age? And I've seen and read plenty of things like this, and I know how to act better. And I'm not even in this situation. Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, let's see what we will all still learn next time.
Talking about learning things, which days are you gonna abandon us next week again?
I am not fully certain yet.
Do you listen to this?
For next week, I'm going to assume it's only Wednesday. Could be Tuesday. Which I'll decide on Monday.
But, to give some structure, the week after that you'll be gone both Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
Yeah. That's guaranteed, because then I'll be on my work trip.
And that means it's finally time for Jack is streaming solo Sonic Adventure. I got 3 streams kind of close to each other, so it's finally happening. Let's fucking go!
I was like looking for group. Is that a multiplayer? I'm quite sure I don't remember that.
I had to teach my mind so hard that when people go LFG, it's not looking for group, looking for group. Yes. I think I will need 3 streams because the cutscenes are long in Sonic Adventure and none of them can be missed. They're all gold, all of them.
I'm very happy I'm not there to play it.
And luckily enough for everybody, mostly me, I had actually set up an installation of Sonic Adventure already. Because, spoilers, it's heavily modded, but we'll get to that when we get there. And it's already done. I've actually finished the game not too long ago in my own playthrough for myself. So, we're gonna go there. Looking for group usage dropped off quite quickly.
That has not dropped quite quickly. That's still used in every single MMO or every single time you look for a group.
Yes.
That's
LFG,
still everywhere.
Name of dungeon. LFG, leveling. LFG, erotic roleplay. I don't know.
But yeah, basically.
I thought For the Win as FTW was the reverse of Fuck the What.
Fuck the what?
Okay, real talk. I didn't because I grew up in a corner of internet where For the Win was more common. But Fuck the What is very internet.
It kind of is, isn't it?
It doesn't shock me that somebody would read it like that. Yeah, no, I see how you would read that like that, yeah. Popularity-wise, it ain't there like it used to be.
I still see it plenty.
Need to play more MMOs. When is Blue Protocol coming out?
I have no clue. I thought it was September. Not really usually have dungeon queues, but it's still used though.
I asked her this, but she doesn't need to Google it. The official website just says 2024 at this point. Oh. I want to say, maybe I'm Mandela affecting myself, but I want to say they said summer. And it's August next week.
I was quite sure it said September, but if it was September, they...
Summer Solstice happened over a month ago. Get your shit together, Bandai Namco and Amazon Games. I want to play Blue Protocol. Blue Protocol. I have a problem. I realized this the other day why I flub my words the way I do sometimes. I want to say one sentence while I'm already thinking of at least two more. And then my brain goes signal to mouth and mouth goes and then all of them come out at once.
That's normal.
Like verbal diarrhea.
I wouldn't have described it as verbal diarrhea, but I want to say that's pretty normal.
Yeah, it shows that I'm excited, you know. That's what I do. Still just says 2024.
Maybe it will be a Christmas release, who knows?
Gamescom is next week and it's specifically the Western release. I would guess announcement, or maybe even like, that would be really dumb to do like a shadow drop kind of thing, like, we're releasing a new trailer for Blue Protocol, and then at the end, available now. Because I don't think servers would exist that can handle that. But my money is on, I'm guessing, a release date announcement at Gamescom, which is in about 4 weeks.
Well,
I would be okay with that.
Fingers crossed.
Not TGS. Tokyo Game Show, why would they go with a Western-centric announcement to Japan? Doesn't make sense. I don't see that. Or they just don't bring it up ever again, and then next year they go, oh yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks. Sorry for the delay. It's fucking... Yeah, I mean... If I had to announce a video game and I could choose any stage... I mean, E3 is dead, so I would also choose Tokyo Game Show just for the sake of it, but... You know. Oh well. I am so thoroughly confused about all the stuff that is happening in Hinamizawa. Or in Higurashi, I should say.
We're gonna find out at one of the days next week. And for now, we're gonna call it a night.
Keep your eyes peeled on the schedule. Once Tifa has learned when she has to be where next week, I will know it when you will. It physically hurt me when you said E3 is dead. Nathan, I don't want to say this to hurt you more, but it's gonna hurt you more. E3 died in 2008. It peaked and died at the same time. At the Konami E3 press conference. That was the best and worst it could have ever possibly been. Have you ever seen that press conference?
Don't think so. I'm also
last
not
peak
going
was
to.
2018 because I was there. Wow, Skinner, you were at E3? All I'm gonna say is, it died shortly after you went there. I'm not saying you're to blame, but yeah, Smash was hype, but hear me out. How about this? I'm gonna see if I can find a good recording of the E3 Konami press conference, and if I can find one, needs to be like viewable, you know, then we're gonna do a watch party. It's like, I want to say 45, 50 something minutes.
I don't think I'll join.
And you will. I will put on every screen in the apartment. I don't care. I will make that happen. It is... The word cringe wasn't used back then the way it is now, I think, as far as I remember. But that was peakest, purest cringe. From beginning to end. Just with lines like, you need to move your fat body. Or if you just mash the A, you will be sucked. Yes. Yes. True sentences. Look it up if you don't believe me. Or wait for the announcement for the watch party. If I find the source, or I find a good source, it's gonna happen. Now, if years passed since I went before it died, lingering effects. If we're gonna come back in a couple of years under new moniker E4. And then Nintendo is gonna sue the crap out of them because E4 stands for Elite Four, and then we're gonna drop the Pokemon money on that and it's dead.
Oh, we can go straight to E5.
You sunk my battleship. Took you a moment. You know, if it takes you this long, the joke doesn't feel like it lands.
Why? Not every joke needs to be understood immediately.
Yeah, but my comedic timing is off and I don't have the patience to wait for the joke to click with you. I'm ruining it myself. Just I'm ruining the ending of the stream because I'm now pressing this button.
I was actually going to say, you know what's also
Thank you everybody for watching us. We'll be back on Tuesday most likely. We'll see you then with check the schedule. Bye.
Thank you.